Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Lafayette, Indiana, a very unstable person has some interesting and scary delusions, leading to a barbaric murder and even more deranged explanation. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once again. Everybody, we are excited. Halloween.
Oh, my.
This is our special Halloween
It's my wheelhouse.
episode, so we go for the most kind of a supernaturally crazy kind of thing here. Not really supernaturally, but crazy enough where it's almost... When crazy gets to a certain level, it becomes almost supernatural in their beliefs. So it'll all make sense when you hear the story. Absolutely one of our nuttiest. Kind of makes Pocket Robin look like your town's alderman, basically. We'll put it that way. Okay. But before we get to that, thank everybody for everything they've done this week for us. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, whatever the hell that is, and give us 5 stars. It really does help out a lot, those reviews. Why? We have no idea.
It's just a thing.
Helps drive you up the charts. That's how they've set it up. We don't know. So thank you for everyone that's done it. And if you haven't yet, please give that a shot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. As a matter of fact, if you're listening today, the day this comes out, or even the Friday or the Saturday, you can check it out. The virtual live show.
Right.
Very exciting. And get your tickets right now. We're coming right to your living room. We're going to be all up in your business. So
do the thing tonight.
It is the all violent felon edition of the prisoner dating game. Holy shit, is it going to be amazing, because I have some insane people laid out for you, Jimmy, and a couple of curveballs, of course.
Oh, great.
Line Jimmy up with 4 lucky bachelors, 4 lucky bachelorettes. The only thing they all have in common is they are all incarcerated for a horrible violent felony. And they have put their dating profiles out there. He chooses one of the 4 of each, and then he gets to find out what they look like, see their pictures, and then also what they've done to earn their position in life at this moment. So,
the balls, man.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Check that out. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com, October the 29th, and for 48 hours afterwards, you can also get it. Do that right now. Also, Patreon this week is hopping as well.
Yeah.
Over on the Crime and Sports one, which you'll have access to. You get access to everything with a Patreon donation. Mm-hmm. So that is the plane ride from hell. Mm-hmm. It's got the word hell in it, so it's Halloween-y, I figured. But it's not scary.
For somebody.
It's scary for a lot of people. It was wrestlers coming from a European flight, a chartered flight full of WWE wrestlers coming from Europe with a full and open bar and flight attendants and
all the hours to do it.
Fighting it's the lawsuits stem from it. It's a crazy thing. It makes the boat ride for the Vikings look very tame. So that'll be Crime and Sports.
That one was only a 2-hour boat ride.
This
is what, 12 hours? 8 hours?
Very drunk.
It's a long time.
Very drunk. Not only that, for the Small Town Murder bonus episode this week, we are going to look at, because it's Halloween, it's going to come out on Halloween, we are going to look at the kind of spookiest and most hauntedest small towns. Oh. We have some of these small towns make their whole reputation on, come to this town, we got haunted shit.
Really?
So we're going to do kind of the top most haunted-y towns you can get. Yeah. Haunted-y, that's a word.
It's new now.
That's what draws there. It's the hauntediness.
Pay attention, Websters.
There you go.
Put that in your fucking...
That's a goddamn word.
Put that in your book.
Enjoy that one. So that's going to be a lot of fun. There's just some crazy shit and some wild stories of, murder and that cause the hauntedness.
That's a requirement almost for haunting.
So there you go. Yeah, it's not usually something calm that happens. No. So you can get all that. Patreon.com/crime and sports, and anybody above the $5 level. And you get a shout out too at the end of the show. Jimmy will mispronounce your name horribly if it's Italian. He'll really mispronounce it bad. And if you just want to have good karma and get a shout out as well, you can do that on PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Quick disclaimer, it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show. The stories are completely real. Nothing is made up for comic effect, but there's going to be jokes made.
Sure.
There is. Yeah. Not at a murder, like while it's happening or anything like that, but around it, there's a lot of crazy shit happening.
Plenty.
It's murder. Yeah. That's a crazy thing to do. Think about it. That's why there's stuff to make fun of, and we're going to do that. But what we don't do is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes.
Go on.
But we're not scumbags.
There you have it.
That's how it works. So if that sounds good, awesome. If not, we warned you. Yeah. I don't know. Give it a shot if you want. If not, don't complain later if you didn't like it.
Sensitivity with you.
I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But for the rest of everybody, let's hang out. Let's have a good time.
Yes.
And let's clear the lungs and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip.
Let's do it.
Shall we? Let's go.
Let's go get sick.
Yeah. We are going to Indiana this week.
Oh, boy.
Back in Indiana I think Christmas Eve was the last time we were in Indiana.
Is that right?
Last year, yes. Indiana's our holiday thing for Christmas, for Halloween.
Was it? You know what? I'm thinking of a different state.
No, it's Vincennes was the last Indiana.
Oh, really?
This is Lafayette, Indiana, and I know people are going to say, because whenever this happens, that's not a small town. It's not a small town. Yes, I know. Population-wise, it might not be a small town, but it actually is, because it's a college town.
Oh.
And when this happened, it was even in the parameters of what we do anyway. So I don't want to hear it's not a small town. When it happened, it was. I know what I'm doing.
That's where Lafayette, the college, is at, huh?
It's where Purdue is.
Oh.
Purdue is.
Where the hell's Lafayette?
Indiana. No idea. Louisiana? I have no clue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Lafayettes.
There is.
So this is Lafayette, Indiana. It's west central Indiana, kind of a little north, too. It's about an hour to Indianapolis, 2 hours to Chicago.
Oh.
So that's interesting. It's kind of in the middle of...
Why would you?
You can get to things.
Why would you be there?
That's what I mean. Just go a little farther. Yeah. There's better places. And about 2 hours and 45 minutes to Vincennes, which was our last episode, which was last Christmas Eve of 2018.
That's where we stop with that one.
That's that. And this is in Tippecanoe County.
Oh.
It's like, that's a real word? Tippecanoe County. What the fuck are you doing over there, guys? What's happening in Indiana? What do you do? Tippecanoe. And it's 7-6. I'm sure it's some ancient native word, and I'm an asshole now. I'm sorry if that's a fact. If it was just American people thinking it was a funny sounding word, then it's dumb. But if it's some like,
it's gotta
ancient
be Native
thing,
American.
then I'm an asshole. I apologize. So it's area code 765. It's 29 square miles. It's a big place. Like I said, it's got a big college on it and things like that. The motto is the Star City.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's L.A.
The Star City. Well, Cincinnati called themselves the Queen City, and then they called themselves the Star City to be better. Oh. Or, as it's known in the rest of the world, quote, that place where Purdue is.
Yeah. Is Cincinnati really the Queen City?
That's what they called themselves in the 1800s.
Why?
Doesn't Charlotte call themselves the Queen City?
And so does Manchester, New Hampshire.
Enough.
Right.
Stop.
The
Queen does not favor any of you, all right? Let's put it that way.
Did we say Charlotte?
Charlotte was the one we went to.
Because it's named after the fucking Queen.
We were at that comedy festival last year, right? Were we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where that was.
But that's the whole point. They're named after Queen Charlotte.
There you go.
That's the Queen City.
Yeah.
What Queen Cincinnati is
You don't know about Queen Cincinnati?
She sounds hideous.
Queen Cincinnati was, she was a very, she ruled with an iron fist, Queen Cincinnati. So,
spaghetti breath.
Yeah, you know how it goes. So the history, by the way, in the prisoner dating game, one of the prisoners, I was so mad because her story wasn't that great, but her name was basically Ninja Pineapples.
Get out.
With a couple other words, and I'm like, Ninja Pineapples? I want Ninja Pineapples to be in this episode, but it just didn't work out. Anyway, history of this town. European explorers, when they arrived here, exploring the Midwest, I guess. It's not much of an exploration.
No.
That way, across the flat field. There it is. Like, what are you exploring?
That's a let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. The tribe of the Miami Indians were there at the time. And in 1717, the French government established a fort there across the Wabash River. And then the fort became the center of trade for trappers and merchants and Indians. Everybody kind of got along, wasn't fighting or anything. Everybody was trading with each other. It was more like a big trading post. And an annual reenactment of this time period of the trading between everybody and the French and the Indians and everything is a festival known as the Feast of the Hunter's Moon.
That's kind of cool.
Which sounds like
dark.
The Feast of the Hunter's Moon. Sounds like at sundown, people are going to emerge from the woods with carcasses over their shoulders draped in blood, and they're going to be like, here's our kill.
We got it now.
And and then there's going to be like bison on a spit, you know what I mean? And we're all going to chant and drink from goblets.
Sounds awesome.
Drink from Stanley cups and shit after around the fire.
The Slayer playing.
We shall drink the blood of the vanquished from the Stanley cup around the fire, for it is the Feast of the Hunter's Moon. That's what I feel.
Sounds awesome.
It's held there every year
in fur clothing.
Absolutely.
Just shit over their shoulders.
Fur top, dressed like the Barbarian in WWE. You know what I mean? Like coming out with like just like a fur thing over boots, and half a fur top from 1992.
Leather flap over your balls.
Oh, you gotta have that. You gotta have a leather ball flap.
Goddamn thing.
What if something flies into it? You want to have a little resistance. You know?
It's a cock bib.
Yeah, it's a little cock bib. There you go. Go wipe myself. I'm a cock bib. So the town of Lafayette was made in about 1825. They platted it up, and William Digby was the guy who did that, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, it's the Sahara Desert Fart Fact of the Week.
William Digby.
William Digby platted Lafayette in 1825. So it was designated the county seat of Tippecanoe County, and Lafayette was named for General Lafayette, who was a French officer who helped George Washington and the army and the Revolution a lot. So that's why there's a shitload of things named Lafayette in America.
George Washington's right-hand man.
No, he was a French guy. He was a French general, but he actually was working in accordance with the Americans. Yeah, because they hate the fucking British still. Yeah. The French and British hate each other to this day, and it wasn't any different 250 years ago. Let's put it that way.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, that'll never change. French and British will always hate each other. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know.
It's too close, that's why.
They're right next to each other, and it's a completely different everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? It would be like if in New York and New Jersey, they spoke completely different languages, and there's a river between you, but beside that, we're completely different people. It's, it's very different. One of us will get hairy and fuck in the streets, and then the other ones will be very buttoned up and just a river.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Think about that. Yeah. The debauchery and then the stiffness. It's one river.
Right.
Fucking wild.
Breads and desserts and fucking over here, and then
so wild.
Fucking cardigan over there.
Plum things. Yeah. Things are made out of fig.
Right.
Everything is fig over there. Enough with the fig.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I love how much lamb they eat over there. I love lamb. They eat a lot of lamb.
I'm very
in England,
confused by their food.
It's gotten good now. For a long time, it was just awful boiled shit.
Right.
But now they've gotten better.
Yeah. I watched in the
90s. They started getting good chefs, and then Gordon Ramsay helped that a lot, just in terms of fame in the rest of the world. They had Marco Pierre White before that. He was like big in England and trained. Yeah. Well, he was in France, and never mind.
I watch him putting fish in too much things, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of different.
And pasty.
They love a quail egg.
Yeah.
Those are good, though.
Pasties?
That's like a pot pie without a bottom,
it's
basically.
Weird.
That's fine. I can eat that.
But fish?
They put
no.
I don't
want
fish in a shell like that.
I don't want fish in anything. I want a piece of fish. That's how I eat it.
You know what? I kind of have
either
to
bread it or just leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah, sear it up or grill it or
put
something.
It in with like fucking rice. What?
Yeah, I don't know what. I think that's
couscous.
Fuck out of here. That feels like a keep it good thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Leave it alone.
I'm sure. No. I mean, I feel like putting it in a pie. It like makes it hold longer.
Oh, gotcha.
So
it lasts longer
during war times and things like that.
All right. You can eat it in 2 days.
Yeah, it's like we have a lot of food. Like that's why people in the Midwest is all fucking casseroles because you can just throw it in there and then eat it again.
Put the plastic on top and put it away.
So I feel like that's kind of the point of that is you can just
wake
always
up in the middle of the night and eat that fish.
You can grab that, throw it in your lunchbox.
Gross.
You know?
Jesus. Fucking breaded chunk of fish.
Go down to the smoke factory, like an early London. It was just a factory where smoke poured out. I think they just made smoke there.
That's all they do.
You just shovel coal into a fire. That's your shift.
We just make coal or make smoke. It's for the ambiance.
Making it smoky.
It's the
so Jack the Ripper can do his thing. See.
The pictures are going to be amazing.
Oh, it's going to be so much better. Creepy, you know. So, all right. Where the hell am I here? So, a guy named Ellsworth here, Henry Levitt Ellsworth. Ellsworth just reminds me of the guy from Deadwood that married Alma in Deadwood. So, he purchased 93,000 acres of land. And
that's so much.
Published a booklet titled Valley of the Upper Wabash, Indiana, with hints on its agricultural advantages. It's basically what they used to do in when they started making developments in Florida. They'd send pamphlets to the Northeast, like, come down to here, look how great it is. That's what this was.
There's nothing here yet, but give us time.
This was come here and look at this fertile farmland. Don't you want to just come here and be a farmer? Don't you want to leave the other life behind? But that's what they were advertising. So that's... No, I don't.
No.
I saw the booklet. I had a picture of it. I'll post it.
Till the land and be reliant on the weather.
That's the problem.
That's horrifying.
You can't control that ever. No matter how hard you work, you can't make rain happen or not happen.
Snow.
Or snow or temperature or plague of bugs.
Right.
There's a lot of things you really can't control, especially in the 1800s.
A lot of variables in there.
Yeah. So Lafayette was the first site of the first official air mail delivery in the United States. On August 17th, 1859.
Really?
You wouldn't think that, but a guy named John Wise piloted a balloon. So it was a balloon starting on the Lafayette courthouse grounds and made an airdrop. So he just basically floated a balloon and threw somebody's mail down so they could say they were the first to do it.
Is that how airmail works? You just throw it out?
No.
Okay.
That's not how it works at all. Good. Well, I'm sure he landed and then did the land.
Walked up. Yeah.
Technically, still it's an air thing, but I don't think now they just drop it from planes above the addresses.
Just throw it out of a fucking biplane.
Hurry, go! We're almost. Never mind, we're past the street. We're gonna have to make another run over there. I just half the street.
Gonna make another pass.
I got this guy's electric bill. He's gonna want this.
He's gonna be pissed if we miss this.
He's gonna be super mad about that if they shut his lights off. So this guy hoped to reach New York, but the weather conditions forced the balloon down near Crawfordsville, Indiana. Not quite to New York. Didn't even make it out of the state.
Right.
And the mail reached its final destination by train, but that's still technically the first launch. In 1959, the U.S. Postal Service issued a 7-cent airmail stamp commemorating the centennial of the event. So, oh boy, there's a stamp commemorating this town's bullshit.
A balloon ride.
Failed balloon ride. So I have reviews of this town. They're funny. All right, let's get into the first one here. This guy's this is like he thought it was Yelp. He fucked up. He put it in the wrong place. This is a 3-star review, so it's average. Quote, there are several ethnic restaurants, such as Mongolian, Chinese, Greek, and authentic Italian. There are also the normal fast food restaurants and chain restaurants. The specialty, in quotes, restaurants are awesome, offering authentic food and drink. The fast food restaurants offer the typical menus offered by them. The chain restaurants, such as Bob Evans and Richard's, offer, quote, down-home cooking. The local flavors offer small menus, but they do them well. That's it.
Just all about food.
There's nothing about the town in here. He just gave a restaurant rundown in case you were stopping by Lafayette.
How long ago did you review that?
2015.
All right.
Just some restaurants.
He saw diners, drive-ins, and dash. And
that's all.
I've got to do this.
Yeah.
This is what I do now. I'm just going to review food.
This one is good, too. Normally, it's not too bad an area, except except during the summer. During this time, before the summer, there's an increase in traffic and rude people. I wouldn't choose to live in this particular area again because down the road is a trailer park with a large amount of pedophiles and child molesters, and I would not want my children to grow up in the area. Well, then.
Yeah. Is that presumptuous, or did they do research and find that out?
I think they just looked down there. Or is that like where they put them all?
Maybe.
Is that the neighborhood that's like outside the zone of school zones?
Yeah.
It's like the one geographic place they can go? Or do they just like, look at all those fucking pedophiles. Look at them. Mustaches and vans.
They've got to be.
Every one of them.
Why else would they choose to be over there?
Dirty. Just dirty. Now, population of this town, like we said, it's technically bigger, but when this happened, it was about 40,000 people were in this town total. Currently, when the murder happened, we're going to talk about. Currently, there is 72,174 people, which is up 65% since 1990.
Purdue, huh?
So, Purdue. The story takes place in 1982, so it's lower. But the 2010 census said the year-round residency, not counting students. The students make up for more than half the residents here.
Yeah.
The year-round, the actual full-time residents are 29,596, which is a small town. So in more ways than one, it's a small town. I don't hear any arguments about it. There you go. So male-female population is normal. It's about 51% female. Median age is low because Purdue is here. So you're going to get a lot. Everybody's, in their 20s and 18, 19 years old. Median age is 32.4.
Yeah.
So pretty low. Married population is lower also. It's only 42%. This is all, makes sense with a college town. Basically, 23% are single with children, so there's kind of more of those kind of people. It's lower married because they're in college, and this isn't Utah. That's how that works. Race of this town, about 76% white, about 8.5% black, 1.6% Asian. Only 1.6% Asian? What the fuck kind of college are you running over there? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. How do you have a huge university and only have 1.6% Asian population?
That feels like you should get a lawsuit.
I don't know if I'm being stereotypical, but there's a lot of Asian kids in college.
Yeah.
I mean, we have I only say that because we have ASU here, and if you go near ASU, there's a shitload of Asian kids. Like, there's a lot of them. Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, that's where they're going. So I don't know. It's weird.
And they have a really big, what is that?
Like, that feels on purpose.
Yeah, it does.
That feels on purpose.
Feels like there should be a lawsuit involved.
Like there's
I applied there, and and I can't get in. Why is that?
On this Welcome to Lafayette, not you, Ching Chong. The fuck is that?
Get out of here, Ling.
What the hell's happening here?
Get back.
Very strange. 12.2% Hispanic. It is 33% religious because they're a little bit younger, so they haven't quite needed to. They haven't needed anything for hope yet, so that's good. Good for them. And it's a good mixture of a bunch of everything. It's not a real dominant religion here. Some Methodists, some Lutherans, some Catholics. 0.3% Jewish, 0.2% Islam. So no Hava Nagila. No politics we're going to talk about, especially this week. Fuck that. I'm not going to get into that. So
it's right around the corner.
Yeah, let's have fun instead and not worry about it. This is a break from that. Right. That's the point. This is hey, look at over here. Want to hear something crazier than what happens here? this, what we're going to talk about, will make this shit. You'll go, oh boy, these things are sane.
If you feel incapable of voting and processing that information, we got you covered.
It's fine.
We'll make that real easy.
So the unemployment rate here is low. It's about 3%. So that was before. This is beginning of this year, before the world caught on fire. So median household income about $44,000 a year. Normally it's about $57,500 in the rest of the country, but you got to figure there's college kids kind of bringing that down with a lot of minimum wage part-time work and shit like that. It's double the manufacturing jobs as normal here. So that's an odd thing. A lot of that in the Midwest
What do they make there?
I don't know, but it comes and goes, that kind of shit. And more educational jobs, too, because there's a huge university.
They might be making the Snuggie right now.
They could be doing anything. Yeah, or a Swiffer, either one. Anything, any cute named product that starts with an S. Something
in the as seen on TV store.
Something like that, next to the magic pillow.
Right.
So overall, where the hell were we? It was before all this shit started. We were in a mall, and they had this cardboard cutout of that guy, just like holding his pillow out.
Guy?
And he's like sticking out in the hallway. I just wanted to clothesline him just because he was like smiling at me with his pillow, and I'm just like, I don't want your pillow. I don't know anything about the guy except that he's got a pillow and he's like blocking my way as I'm trying to walk by. That's all. I was like, get out of my way, pillow man. I don't know why it made me so angry. He could have been literally anybody on Earth. It could have been just like a Mother Teresa cardboard. I've been like, get out of my way, old lady.
There's something pretty arrogant about creating a quote unquote product that's existed for so long that we were all fine with. Yeah. And he's like, this one is so much better than everything else you've ever used. How about go fuck yourself?
Yeah,
sir? Reinventing the wheel.
And I want like an astronaut to give me that. Like, I had to
that has been somewhere unbelievable.
We had to invent this in space. It was the only way that it would work. So we needed astronauts to do it.
So it's clearly better.
Now that would be something that would be like, this is the best toilet paper ever.
Right.
Really?
Is it? How
Is
dare
it?
you?
Yeah, does it do the same job? Probably. So the cost of living in this town is about 78, which is low, 78 out of 100. And that's because of housing. The housing is actually super low here. It is a 59 out of 100. And the median home cost is $136,800. Oh. So pretty low.
Yeah.
A lot of the homes are worth between 60 and 150,000.
Really?
There's a lot of those in there. And if we've convinced you, damn it, it's time to go. We have for you the Lafayette, Indiana real estate report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $750 a month, which is, it's below the national average by a lot. So college kids, get yourselves 9 roommates and move on in. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house I found, 1,488 square feet. So a good family home here. Decent, nice, detached garage, too, in the back. That's nice, kind of in the back of the house. Yeah. Like a sitcom.
Get away from him and drink.
Like a Midwestern sitcom. Yeah, you'd have a fridge out there. $135,000 for that. Not bad. Not bad, right? 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,145 square feet. This is a nice house. It's nice, too. It's white with pillars. It's got 4 big pillars in the front that go the whole 2 stories.
Absolutely.
Very nice. $159,900.
With pillars.
With pillars. Nice house.
Wow.
Not bad. Then I found this house is insane. It's 5-bedroom, 5-bath, T-ball for every b-hole.
Yeah.
That's right, everybody. If you're going to vote, make sure it's for T-balls for every b-hole, which is not on the ballot, but that's fine. So it is 6,571 square feet.
Sweet Christ.
Cute, nice. It looks like 3 houses like
welded together.
That's what it looks like because it's like got different sizes and shapes.
Awesome.
It's awesome looking. $565,000. In Phoenix, this house would be $5 million. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Great.
It's beautiful too. Things to do. Should we go any farther than the Feast of the Hunter's Moon?
Never. I'm not leaving.
I think we need to know all about that because it sounds much more awesome than it is.
Really?
Like it sounds like it's like the Feast of the Hunter's Moon.
There's not
going to be like
a boar jerky fucking nothing like that.
They're going to be like Motorhead playing the anthem on the way in as people come in, just like some dark shit.
Ace of Spades.
Yeah, it's the Feast of the Hunter's Moon. Hunter's Moon. The Hunter's Moon. Just
so good.
Going off on it. Yeah, no, that's not happening. It's very different. It offers, this is what it says here. The Feast of the Hunter's Moon offers both public and the participants a realistic portrayal of the people, cultures, and lifestyles that existed on the French and English colonial frontier in the Great Lakes region during the time of Fort Quayetanon, which encompassed the period from 1717 to 1791.
They could really spice this shit up.
The Feast of the Haunted Moon.
I need an extra bass player up there.
Right? I just picture like teenagers showing up like cosplaying like some crazy shit with like a horn coming off.
Hell yeah.
And they show up, they're like, what the fuck?
This is shit.
There's like, there's like violins and shit
guy
going.
Dressed like a pixie.
Yeah, he's got people with like tights and bewigged douchebags running around all over the place. It's going to be a mess. We want to interpret this time and place as accurately as possible in order to offer the public an educational and unforgettable experience, and also to honor the people who lived here. The Feast of the Hunter's Moon is a weekend festival and historical reenactment held each fall on the first weekend of October since 1968 at the present-day site of that fucking fort that I can't pronounce. Yeah. This will come up later, too, because the Feast of the Hunter's Moon is attended by our people here.
Hilarious.
Oh, boy. And they were into that sort of shit. A replica 18th century French military and trading post. Holy shit.
They are blowing it.
They have such a cool name.
It's really just a gift. It's a golden goose right there.
Fuck,
and
dude.
they're fucking their golden goose.
That's fucking metal. The Feast of the Hunter's Moon.
You could hire so many metal bands and employ. You give guys so much work.
There would be
every year.
Oh, there'd be STDs all over that place. Just people being it would be amazing. So during the festival, they reenact the annual fall gathering of the French and Native Americans, which took place in the mid-18th century. Participants dress in the garb of 18th century French soldiers.
Like assholes.
1700 soldiers. Whoa. Settlers and Native Americans who lived in the region. I don't know if you have to pick out of a hat ahead of time which one you are. It's based on what kind of a costume you have access to. I'm not sure how this is doled out. It seems like you're going to have a whole lot of one and not a lot of the other. I don't know. Who wants to be a settler? I guess it'd be the easiest one to dress for. Just tattered clothes.
Put some dirt on your face.
Yeah, the Native Americans.
That's so much more fun.
Plus, then you got an issue of
am I culturally appropriate?
What am I looking like here?
Like an asshole.
French soldiers, you got to have that's just too much garb. Food vendors sell traditional period foods.
Oh, gross.
Which is, we really want the foods they ate in the 1700s because that's, before they had refrigeration and knew what
spices.
To do. And also
McCormick didn't exist then.
No. They didn't have spices from across the world.
They didn't have a whole grocery store aisle dedicated to it.
Well, you know what they do have? Rabbit stew.
Ugh.
Rabbit stew, Voyager stew, which sounds like just whatever you picked up on the side of the road, and venison sausage, which is probably good.
That's probably fine.
Also, music, marching, dancing, and reenacted military maneuvers.
Oh,
holy
Jesus.
Shit. Wow, just prancing 18th century Frenchmen. That's great.
Nothing more embarrassing and boring than simulated walking.
Oh, that's awful. That's not even like a Civil War reenactment where they're killing anybody. Everyone's getting along. What the fuck are you reenacting?
Synchronized, not simple.
Yeah.
Synchronized walking. Let's do that.
While dressed like 18th century
Idiots.
French soldiers.
Right.
So musical acts also perform, including Native American drummers, historical folk music performers, French folk singers, and period fife and drum corps, or fife, whatever those little...
Oh, fifers, yeah.
I don't know, little whistle thingy is.
Yeah.
So, lots of that. There's food booths, roasted corn, buffalo burgers, homemade root beer.
Ew.
We have. Yeah. Have you ever had like an IBC or like a Stewart's? Right. That's good root beer.
Or that Western sarsaparilla.
Oh,
I get it.
You don't need
it
this.
It exists in barrels.
Homemade root
you don't
beer.
Need somebody in
the
their fucking kitchen putting the sugar together.
You get a rabbit stew and a homemade root beer? No. What the fuck? What are we, hobos? Hold on, let me put my bindle down while I order a fucking rabbit stew and a homemade root beer. Get out of here.
Rabbit. Gross.
And also, I don't know what this is. As you would expect, a huge gathering of sutlers, S-U-T-L-E-R, will be present at the Feast of the Hunter's Moon to offer, as you would expect, obviously, to offer period-era wares and crafts. Furs, clothing, woodwork, toys, baskets, apple head dolls. Oh, that sounds terrifying. Apple head doll. Sounds like a doll with an apple head.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Sounds like that doll doesn't last long.
No, it'll rot right away. Yeah. Probably treat it.
Your older brother smoking weed out of it.
Yeah, just, man, what'd you do? I just hollowed it out, bro. Don't worry about it.
Couldn't find my bowl.
Shit, bro. I lost my Mountain Dew can. Musical instruments, barrels, cast iron fireworks. Cast iron fireworks?
What?
Okay. Oh, fireworks that make cast iron shit.
Oh,
okay,
got
yeah.
it. Fireworks.
Fireworks.
Like an employee.
Yeah, but it's one word.
Yeah,
so
they shouldn't have
bad.
done that.
Quilts, blankets, pottery. Who gives a shit? Anyway, crime rate in this town.
Great.
That festival sucks. I'm bored with it.
They blew it.
They really
ruined
blew it. Great name. Bullshit
Had an opportunity.
thing. So property crime is almost double the national average, which is kind of typical for college towns. College kids do dumb shit. They
really do.
They do dumb shit. They get drunk in the streets and all that kind of thing.
And then they take shit out on their ex-boyfriend or girlfriend.
Well, that's where you get
to the property.
To the violent crime. Oh, the property.
Yeah, they break their car up. Right.
Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is high, about 20% high here. So a little bit high on that too. So it's got some stuff popping off, which is strange. Well, speaking of stuff popping off, let's talk about a murder.
Correct.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Right. Okay. This here, let's start with a couple of people. A couple of people, Shelley and Gerald Smith.
Okay.
They sound very nice, right? Pleasant people.
He goes by Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing? I think he goes by Gerald.
Does
Everybody seems to call him Gerald. Gerald Smith is 30 in 1982, and Shelley Smith is 26 in 1982. So the story takes place in 1982. Which is makes it more interesting, I think. Here we'll find out. Gerald, is a senior at Purdue.
Oh,
so he's
32.
30.
Oh, 30.
He's 30. I don't know if there was what kind of gap he had or whatever, but he also delivers newspapers in the morning. So he's basically except for the college, if he dropped out of college, he'd be Chris Elliott from Get a Life, that old show back in the day there. But instead, he's in college and married, so he has a life going on here. So he's doing fine, Gerald Smith. He's trying to graduate. He's trying to make ends meet while he graduates. He's married to Shelley Smith, who's 26. She stays at home because they have a 1-year-old daughter.
Oh.
So she takes care of their 1-year-old daughter. He hustles newspapers in the morning. He gets up at about 2 in the morning, leaves the house at 3.
Good Lord.
And delivers newspapers, gets home about 8:30, changes his clothes, and goes to class.
Fuck.
So, and then he's got a 1-year-old, and she's got this.
That's a tough life.
Yeah, and then she's got the 1-year-old by herself. So they're both, they're working toward a bigger goal, is what we're getting at. They're building something together as a family here. So in 1981, there's some other people involved that we'll talk about here. So though they're married for a couple years, they seem very happy. Like we said, he's in college. She's into like poetry, Shelley.
Okay.
And like they're kind of like kind of artsy.
Yeah.
They're artsy people. Like she has like poetry reading jam sessions over in the living room of the house. You know what I mean? People like local people that they know, friends and artists come over, and it's kind of like in like the late 50s. It's weird. They're like 20 years still going on from like what they used to do, like with the beatniks and hippies and shit later on would do, just get together and have jam sessions and shit. But that was kind of
forward the teenagers do fucking now.
Yeah, now it's
college kids do that shit together a lot. That's pretty popular, expressing feelings and stuff. Fuck that.
Yeah, 82 though, it wasn't.
No,
it didn't seem to be a big thing. But so 1981 was the year before our main kind of center of the story. But this is we'll go back to 81 for a second and talk about a woman who they know later on. They don't know her at the time in 81. A woman named Marcia Ruth Heald, Heald. Heald or Held? I don't know. I'm going to go with Heald. I'll go with Marcia.
Okay.
Marcia. Marcia.
Easy.
Marcia's 44 years old.
Yeah.
She, at this point, she has 2 teenage sons. She's been divorced twice. You know, she's 44. She's had a life. Right. She's a religious woman. She goes to church. And she's raised in Indiana by her parents who've lived there, obviously, probably. She wasn't raised in an orphanage or anything. She's raised in, I think, Plainfield, Indiana, and she's raised as a Quaker.
Oh, boy.
So she's raised as a Quaker. She plays the harp.
What?
Yeah, she does. Her aunt describes her as, quote, well-educated. She was a graduate of Earlham College and then had earned a graduate degree at Indiana University.
Awesome.
So, yeah, she does. I mean, that's great. She's done very well for herself. She always did well in school, and she worked for libraries since then. She's very much into books and music and art. Of course,
it's a harp.
That's what I mean. She's into that sort of thing. She's not someone who's like, cool, I'm going to Wall Street.
Right.
I'm going to make a buck in the stock market. Like, she's much more into, more artsy endeavors here. So she goes there. She was very active in the local Society of Friends church and in music groups.
Yeah.
So she's into church. She's into music groups. She's social. Mm-hmm. She does things. She comes from her family's like a good family. They live on. She's raised on a farm that her family still lives in. Mm-hmm. Same, her parents still live there outside of Plainfield, and they live there forever. In 1981, she's employed at the Indiana State Library in downtown Indianapolis, where she worked in the library's loan department since 1979.
The loans.
The loans. I don't know if that's loaning out books.
Is it that, or is it like...
Is she the library cop, like on Seinfeld, or what's her story?
Is it a loan officer for paying your fucking overdues?
That's what I mean. Is she going around collecting, this person owes us 65 cents.
Just breaking legs.
They've had this book for 11 years. They owe us 65 cents. I got to collect. She's dispatching a group of thugs to knock on your door. She's got like a bunch of Hell's Angels that she sends out there.
Hell yeah.
Fuck it. You guys get a cut of it. We'll give you 3 nickels if you pull this together.
Hey, next week or Snot's going to come visit you.
He's going to come after you, I'll tell you what. So February of 1980, she also started working 2 Saturdays a month at the Indianapolis Children's Museum.
Oh.
That's nice, right?
She does lots of fucking
she's...
proper shit.
Yes, she's very much things that we don't do.
Ever.
She has an education we don't do that.
She works at the library. Forget just going there once.
She wants to help people with her stuff. She works at a children's museum because she likes the children, and she likes she likes the museum too. She's into education. That's she's very smart. She's, like I said, divorced twice, and she has at the time a 16-year-old son and a 14-year-old son, or 13 at the time. And her 17-year-old son lives in Plainfield with her parents, and he stays there. And then her 14-year-old son moved to Albuquerque the year before.
Like New Mexico.
Nice pop there.
Did I get it?
Hey, pop that bad boy good. Her younger son moved to Albuquerque to stay with her ex-husband, his father.
Yeah.
So he was going to go live with the father for a while.
Poor bastard.
Which is fine. So she's living alone at this moment in time, but she's in constant contact with her sons and things like that. They haven't disowned her or anything. They just wanted to whatever.
Experience something else.
Yeah. So she lived in this area kind of her whole life. except she moved away during one of her marriages briefly and came back. So her father's a retired truck driver and laborer, and he keeps the grounds for several churches in the area on a volunteer basis as he's retired. So she comes from a nice Quaker family who, volunteers and goes to college and then, helps children and
mows lawns
and
fun.
Fucking weed whacks for free. Yeah, that's when you're retired.
Right.
Imagine being like 72 years old and being like, going over to weed whack for nothing.
The old Baptist
Shit, no.
Baptist lawn is a little overgrown.
Nope, I don't care. I'd dispatch my grandchildren to do this type of thing. Nope, you're mowing over here. You're doing volunteer work for me. You're doing... Say it's from me.
Yeah.
But I can't do it.
I wouldn't even bother. I'd just send a letter. Old. Cut the grass. It looks like shit.
It looks terrible. Fucking bums. So now we got to talk about another guy here who she meets. A man named Brian Thornton. Thornton. He is he's a musician. He's a piano technician. I keep saying. I don't know what the hell a piano. Does he fix pianos?
There's a whole racket for tuning those fucking things.
That's what I mean. I don't know if he does he could be a piano tech for concerts or for studio work or something. They have those. I know that'll get the piano all ready for the artist to come sit down and they can just crank away.
That tuning is expensive.
Yeah, no, it's an art form and it's and if you're into music, that's I guess a good way to make a living where you can still be around a piano. And I've never heard of anyone doing this before. I feel like. Okay, he builds harpsichords.
What?
I feel like all the harpsichords in the world were built before the 1870s, right?
We've probably got plenty.
About 1880, they were like, that's enough harpsichords. We're good. I think we're good for 200 years.
As soon as they were plural, we're good.
We're shutting it down. It's one of those things. If you want a harpsichord, you get it's like an antique harpsichord from some French person's house in the 1870s. And
you set it on a desk and never touch the fucking thing.
That's what I mean. I didn't know that they were currently being produced. I've never heard anybody need a harpsichord bad. Have you?
Never.
I
don't think I've ever seen one.
I feel like when someone dies who has one, it'll go to somebody else, and that's enough harpsichords around.
And hopefully that person knows how to play the fucking thing.
If not, they can maybe give it to someone who does. That's how harpsichords get around. But I don't feel like they're made and produced, and I'm going down to the harpsichord store. It's like I've been in music stores, a lot of them, and I've never seen harpsichords for sale.
Yeah, I bought a guitar for my kids for their birthday, and no.
Was there a harpsichord section?
I don't think so.
No?
I think, there was guitars and drums, and that's it.
Bass or two.
That's it.
Some shit like maybe a tambourine.
Done.
That's about all. Yeah, I don't see a lot of harpsichords. There wasn't a guy in the back with puffy sleeves toiling on a harpsichord,
Didn't see
making one, honing it and whittling it out of
some shoes with fucking hooks on the ends.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's so strange. Little bells on them.
Yeah.
That's odd. I would think you'd see that. So Brian was put in an asylum at age 10.
Yeah.
For a while.
For what?
Well, we don't really know exactly for what, and it's what we don't. This is a chicken or the egg situation with Brian, as we'll find out a little bit later. We're not quite sure. Brian's got some what would be considered in 1982 Indiana aberrant lifestyle choices, which now would be nothing at all and not considered
he's got
shit.
A harpsichoid?
He's running around with a harpsichord, the bells on the pointy shoes.
Right.
People are freaking out, but we'll find out. Brian's a little bit he's bisexual, kind of. He'll go, he's with men sometimes, with women sometimes. I guess that's the definition.
Yep.
And there it is.
That's the one.
So,
those are the symptoms.
Yeah, those are the symptoms. So I don't know if back then in the 50s, if a kid showed tendencies that way, they would put him in a fucking asylum sometimes. If there was a very religious family or just a lot of times just people who they just didn't know back then. So they thought it was, and people it was classified as a mental illness until the 80s or some shit.
Homosexuality was too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
not just bisexual shit.
Any kind of homosexual tendencies as they would, put it back then. But anything perceived gayness back then, they'd be like, that kid needs help and put him in a home. Yeah. Whereas, Some parents, if they were good, would probably just talk to their kid, find out what they're into, and then be like, oh, all right, well, they seem like they...
Well, that's that.
And then you just, I don't know. But anyway, off of that one. So he's put in aside. So we don't know what happened or if there was other reasons why. Okay. But he says when he was in the asylum, he saw what he called atrocities there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Go on. And because this is This is like in the early 60s.
Yeah.
So think about that. I'm sorry, like the early 50s. So this is not a time when this was. Have you seen like Cropsey?
Yes.
Okay, like
terrible.
Like with Cropsey, that was the late 60s. They were just letting people fucking run around in their own shit, and
so bad.
It's disturbing to watch how they treated those people. Think about 20 years before that, how they were treated, and children
they were doing it because they didn't think they knew any better. They couldn't understand or process or tell anybody.
And that's with adults,
right?
That's why they'd let them go, because physically you don't want to have to tangle with them. You can physically dominate a 10-year-old, so that would be scary of how they were. So anyway, Brian and Marcia meet each other in September of 1981. They meet each other at the Eagle Creek Rendezvous, which is a music festival.
And it was terrible.
It was harpsichord players and everything.
Some symphony.
Somebody with a lute.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit. Yeah.
God damn it.
This was rough. They worked out several tunes together. She was playing the dulcimer.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know either. I know it's something you have to pick. It's got strings.
Okay.
I know that because later on one of the ladies complains that she didn't like the way she played the dulcimer.
Oh.
It wasn't into it.
Not her cup of tea.
No, just not good. And Thornton was playing his flute.
Okay, I know what that is.
So, yeah, the old-fashioned-y, they're skipping around, man. This is some, like...
How do you spell dulcimer? Is it with a Y?
D-U-L-C-I-M-E-R.
Oh, it's like a fucking
like
steel guitar, James.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
It's like a lay-down guitar.
Okay, I knew it was some kind of string instrument.
Or it's not. 'Cause what the fuck? You can't. That's not the same instrument. You can't have that and then that and have them be called the same thing.
No,
like that's
maybe they make the same sounds.
I see that one being like a Renaissance fair guitar.
That's what I'm saying. It's an old-fashioned,
fat, long guitar.
Something she needs to pick the strings on. Okay. So I knew that had to be a string instrument.
Those are not the same instrument. No. God damn it! Get those off the internet together.
And him on the flute with a big jester hat. I'm sure with bells on the end of it too to match his shoes.
Well, he hopped on.
Just back and forth with his flute. Yeah, wearing tights, and
she's sitting in a chair with that shit on her lap.
Yeah, and I picture it, and they're having a grand old time. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful?
Jesus.
They're liking it, though.
They loved it.
They get into it, and they like each other, these two. They like each other a little bit as friends, a little bit romantically. They're into each other, so they're having a good time making music together. They both have interests in 18th century reenactments, so they love going to the Feast of the Haunted Moon. They love that shit. They love it a lot. And they go to folk music festivals together, and oh boy, they become friends and shit, Later on, she gets a little bit clingy, and he kind of wants to break away, but it's not that bad, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. But she is very much into music. Yeah. She keeps a journal, which we're going to refer to plenty over the course of this. In the journal, here's a quote from one of her journals. This was made on February 4th, 1982. Quote, "Music is the language of souls. We play music in many places and many settings, among many people, until we find those who have the matching souls."
Okay.
So she's saying she might have found her matching soul through music.
Okay.
With Brian here. In 1981, October 81, Marcia goes with Brian to the Egyptian display, and he read the hieroglyphics, because I guess he had taken some Egyptian shit and could read some hieroglyphic, right?
He's fluent.
I don't know if he's fluent, or he might have been full of shit.
Yeah,
who knows?
Right.
I mean,
see, this right here is the cat likes the arrows. That's why
hieroglyphics.
They're shooting them toward him.
Yeah, I could tell you anything. That's like when you're doing like a nonsense foreign language for an actor. Like, yeah, what language is that? Oh, it's fucking whatever. It's like Kazakhstani Borat. It's just not a real language. So I don't know. Anyway, it was then. I mean, you could make up anything you want now because nobody fucking knows what that is what I'm getting at. It's not active.
I think I clipped what is a Rosetta Stone for this though?
I'm sure.
I bet they do.
They probably do. They're
hieroglyphics.
They're gonna get money out of you one way or another. So she, at that point, told him that she believed that she was ancient. Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, she believed she was not of this time.
Oh.
She believed she was ancient and has lived many lives.
As like in her soul.
Well, yeah,
It's
she's
just
been
a
reincarnated over and over again.
All right.
We'll find out how old.
She's a party.
Yeah, and she told her friends that Brian told her that, quote, my friends think I'm the god Pan.
Okay.
I don't know that particular god. I'm not. Maybe it's an Egyptian. I'm not sure. I'm not up on my gods.
It might be a Peter thing.
Not positive. But she said, well, I'll be your Tinkerbell. Yeah. And then they went off together in a tent and fucked while he played the flute. I don't know what happened. So none of that happened. No. So, but he said he thinks my friends think I'm the god Pan. Uh-huh. So that's not going so far as to say I think I'm the god Pan. I've been told rumors abound that I am possibly the god Pan, but don't quote me on that.
Not that I resemble. I am.
Off the record.
Right.
Off the record. This is what friends have told me. I haven't confirmed it for myself, obviously, but that's what's going around.
People tell me.
People tell me this, and it's possible. I could be the god Pan. What do I look like? I don't know. I play the flute pretty well. I make harpsichord. How many other people know how to make a harpsichord, huh? That's right. God Pan right here, whatever that is.
Anytime somebody says, people tell me I look like this, that's that person wishing they look like that. Yeah.
People always tell me that, and you always look at them and go, do they?
No, they don't.
Who would tell you that?
What asshole did this to you?
No one's ever told me I look like anybody.
No.
That's the honest to God truth.
I've heard Dana Carvey, and that's just because we both have thin lips. That's it. Neither of us have an upper lip between us.
You looked like the drummer in a 90s band that I saw a video for, remember? And I sent you the screenshots of it. What band was that?
I don't remember.
But you looked just fucking like him, dude. It looked just like you. It was creepy.
And to my credit, or theirs possibly, a lot of people look like me at an angle. And I know that because Facebook tags me in so many people's pictures, and none of them look like me.
Yeah, put a hat on and you won't. That's pretty cool. Put a hat on.
Be bald with glasses. Have a beard. You're everybody.
That's all that sees. Right. Is those three features.
You're everybody.
With me, they're like, can't see your face. There's a hat. I don't know who you are. Done. It's beautiful. You hide it.
Holy shit.
So she decided later on in the month, after the God Pan thing and the hieroglyphic reading, she decided that if this is what she told her friends, if Christ came back to Earth, he would be Thornton. He'd be Brian.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If he came back. I feel like that's who he'd be.
Yeah.
So that's just on the table. I feel like it's possible. That's what she said. Yeah. So she's like, I just want everyone to know that I'm not sure he is Christ. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But if Jesus was back, that's the guy. He's right here in front of me. So I found him just in case. But you never know.
Yeah.
If by chance he was back now, I think I ran into him. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Good guy. Plays the flute. We get along well. So she's just saying that much. So fast forward. Let's fast forward. This is like late 81, early 82. Let's fast forward to August 2nd, 1982. August 2nd, 1982, 8:30 a.m. to be very specific. Okay. Gerald Smith, remember him? 30 years old, delivering newspapers, going to Purdue, has a wife named Shelley, 1-year-old daughter. They're hustling. Okay. Gerald Smith calls 911 at 8:30 a.m. Oh. Gerald calls 911 to say that his wife has been attacked in their home. He walked in, she's in the hallway, she's unresponsive, there's blood everywhere, and she's naked.
Oh, boy.
Not a good 911 call to make. He said, I just got home from my paper route, and this is what I found. Right? Boy. So police arrive, and they find her. She's dead. Shelley has been killed. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the police officers here. Quote, the murder was extremely brutal. He said it was one of the worst he'd ever seen. He said, quote, there was a large number of stab wounds with a variety of weapons. He said nothing in the apartment indicated there'd been a struggle. There's nothing knocked over, no lamps, nothing like that. He said that Shelley Smith is nearly decapitated, barely just some tissue and flesh basically holding her head on her body.
That seems to be very common.
I don't know what it is about, but so a lot of times they do it a certain way. We'll get into this. This was beyond what we usually see. Mm-hmm. Usually it's there's at least a swift instrument of some kind, or this is another level of when we get into how this happened. So they said 4 knives ranging in size from a paring knife to a large butcher knife were found like kind of spread around the area of where they found Shelley. and her body was nude. She was found in the hallway there. He described her lying on her stomach with her palms down. Her head was twisted around, and basically,
Jesus.
yeah. Her also above her head, intertwined, basically had like there was leaves in her hair, like a vine from a wandering Jew plant.
Yeah,
and that's what they're called, wandering. I have one in my living room actually, but there's a vine with like in her hair, like in her.
Like a crown?
Like almost like just, it's like in her hair. Now, we're not sure how this exactly happened, and there's pieces of a broken mirror everywhere, all over the place, and a brown clay pot was near her head as well. Okay. An empty brown clay pot. So
it's a lot of clues.
This is a scene.
Yeah. Naked,
dead woman, blood everywhere, head nearly off, broken mirror, tons of knife.
Yeah.
Clearly placed in her hair, like a vine with some leaves in it in there also. This is a very odd scene. Now, the police officer said that he was a religious guy and he was brought up in the church, and because of that, his first thought was that this had something to do with the occult, the murder. Yeah. He said that there were 2 books on the occult on a nearby dresser and a picture of a crucifix in unusual colors. Oh, not a rainbow crucifix or something. Not that. Oh God. Well, that must be a.
And it's 1982.
Case closed. Yeah. It's Indiana. That's
right.
what I mean. It's everything is very conservative in terms of it's Footloose. This is the town from Footloose, basically. That's where it wasn't in Indiana.
I don't know.
It's somewhere in there in the Midwest. I don't know. So he says, quote, it was so gruesome it suggested something other than just shoot 'em up and get out kind of deal.
Yeah.
It was clearly, somebody worked at this. So her 1-year-old daughter was inside the apartment as well, safe and sound, not uninjured, untouched, in her room.
I mean, not uninjured.
No, but I mean, in her room, had no idea anything happened. Okay. Looks like no one ever went in that room. There's no blood in there. There's no footprints. There's no anything. Okay. So nothing like that. Gerald Smith is allowed to take the baby outside, at least, because, I mean, obviously I would say he's your number one suspect immediately. When the husband calls, I was out and I came home and here she is. Like, really? Did you now? That was what everybody says. So they also noticed that at some point Shelley was hit over the head by something in the apartment, which might be the clay pot, possibly. Yeah. Most of the blood was found where Shelley was discovered, in a hallway that leads from the bathroom to other parts of the apartment. And they said the husband left about 3 a.m., we'll find out a little bit more exact about that for his job delivering papers. He said she was fine when he left. He said he returned, about 8:30 and found her. He said when he left, he closed the door quietly but didn't lock it, which I get it's 1982 in Indiana, but why wouldn't you lock your door?
You got a 1-year-old.
How do you not lock your door? I know that I'm from a different place and whatever, but you lock your door always. Just lock it. It's not that hard. Just click. There you go. Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Hey, no one will walk in and butcher my family.
Not
cool.
even necessarily.
It'll be harder for
safety
him to
of
do
your
it.
wife, but you got a 1-year-old in there.
Yeah, you got a baby. Even for you, if you're in there, just lock it up. Who knows?
Even if it's not to keep bad guys out, it sure keeps her in.
The baby.
Yeah.
Not the.
Her.
They have an 18-month-old baby. That's why you don't want them wandering out. Yeah.
You keep that thing inside.
What do you think of that? Shelley ain't getting a key either. Like, no, that's not what happened at all, from what we understand here. So he was holding the little girl when the cops arrived. He stood outside the house for most of the afternoon with the baby, and then was at police headquarters and didn't comment to the press at all, but talked to the police and gave the statements and all that sort of thing. Police, they go inside the apartment. They gather information. They said they've done a very extensive investigation in the apartment. Gerald here, he says, quote, later on, he said he returned from his paper route, quote, she was lying there with her face up and there was a piece of mirror laying on top of her under her chin. He said, I was shocked and confused. I reached down and took the piece of mirror off of her. I thought it was laying on her chin, but it was laying on her back because the rest of her body was turned around. Do you get that?
Oh, my Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Her head was backwards.
Ripped it backward. That's wild.
That's why. So imagine that. That's
boy.
Horrific. That is horrific. He said her body was cold. I stood there. I tried to make sense of what was happening. That's what he told the police. So, I mean, Jesus Christ. That's horrific. So back to Brian and Marcia. Okay, back to those two hanging out and playing the flute and skipping around.
Right.
May of that year, May of 1982, she attended a Renaissance fair in Indianapolis.
Of course she did.
Yeah, of course, because Thornton was booked to play the harpsichord there. That's gigs you get, is Renaissance fair gigs.
Hell yeah.
So he's...
I got a Ren fair.
I just picture Patton Oswalt and Reno 911. That's all I picture. And them yelling at him, and he's like, "No, you don't understand. It's in this time and blah blah blah. I don't. This modern conveyance." And like, get your ass in the goddamn car. That's what I'm picturing. So
you've been to it here, right?
No.
Oh, James.
No. My daughter likes that shit though.
Yeah.
She likes like that kind of.
I feel
cool
like
shit. She's like in acting.
Yeah,
and stuff,
but if COVID wasn't happening, I'd drag your ass there because it's beautiful and it's in a nice time of year. It is. It's far.
Go out. I'm not doing anything that's in the desert. I'm not going to drive to go to a plot of desert. There's never going to happen. I don't care what's there.
That is hilarious.
Never happening.
It is an hour and a half to fucking get there.
There's desert here.
Then you get there, you have a turkey leg, and then drive an hour and a half home.
A dusty turkey leg from the desert. No.
See a guy jam swords in his throat.
I do nothing here. It's just all dirt. And
Why is it always dudes that do that, and it's not chicks?
Yeah, no, they know that's rare.
I feel like I'd watch it a little closer if it was a woman.
We're going to get tweeted like a million chick sword swallowers now. You know we are. You know we are. Look at this. This lady does it. I
want to watch.
Here's my friend, and down to the hilt.
It's always a dude that
right to the hilt.
Puts it between his teeth, opens his mouth, and it fucking slams on his cheeks.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I want to take you. I really do.
To the
Ren fair.
That's fair. That sounded very sexual. I want to take you. It was like, I looked over at you like, what?
What do you want?
You're talking about jamming things down your throat, and then you're like, I want to take you. Like, hold on a second. What are we talking about here?
Put the beer down,
I was very confused for a second here. Yeah, I was like, good Lord, this edible kicked... I get that the edible kicked in a little bit ago, but, like, not that hard. What's happening?
This guy, James, blows up like long balloons and pushes them down his throat.
Yeah.
And then his stomach gets really big because he's got fucking balloons in there.
Okay.
And then he jams a knife down there and his stomach goes back to normal because he pops them all.
So then he's got a shit rubber?
He's got a shit rubber out.
Chunks of rubber?
Yeah.
Shitting out balloon knots?
Poor bastard. This colorful shit in the Ren fair.
It's like, did I eat Lucky Charms or what today? I don't know which one. So, that's terrible.
It's wild.
Well, that's what they go, to the Ren Fair.
Okay.
To the Ren Fair we go. And she said, if it wasn't in the middle of the desert, I'd go there, but I'm not going to the desert. So she said there, this is one of the, when things start to go a little loopy with her. I mean, the Jesus thing and all that was a little loopy, but she said that while she was there, an Egyptian-looking man wearing a lot of jewelry seduced her there.
Yeah.
Okay. So a bejeweled Egyptian man seduced her at the Ren Fair, which is interesting. I don't understand that. More on that later. Don't worry. That'll come back.
It's not Xerxes?
No, we don't know.
Okay.
Just a guy.
Right.
Could have just been some Italian guy wearing a lot of jewelry. And she's like, he's an Egyptian man. He's like, hey, sweetheart, come over here. How you doing? Look at you, little sweet ass. All right. Let me get you a turkey leg and some food on top of that. You know what I'm talking about? Come over here, sweetheart. Hey, come into my tent for a minute. No. I think he's Egyptian, right? She's from Indiana. She's a Quaker. She has no idea.
Never seen culture.
She's Egyptians. Wow. He was just wearing gold.
So much.
He had a horn of gold around his neck. So in May, she threw herself at Brian Thornton's feet and began kissing them.
For what reason?
Out of the blue.
Yeah.
He told her at that point that she was, quote, loony.
Yeah.
But in like a fun way, like, you're loony. You know what I mean? Like, you are loony, man. So during this time, he started asking his friends that he knew and that she was introduced to, kind of, can you talk to her and like tell her like, you know, like, hey, I'm not Jesus. Just tell her I'm not Jesus, if you would. Like, 'cause she's starting to kiss my feet and shit like that, and it's getting a little bit weird. So just be like, hey, you know, Brian's not Jesus, right? Joke around. Yeah. Don't make her feel uncomfortable. He's that sort of thing. So
slide it in the conversation. Don't shoehorn it.
If she brings it up,
right.
Make sure to give a retort is all I'm asking for, including Shelley Smith is one of the people that he asked. Maybe, if you guys run across each other, be like, hey, by the way, Brian's not Jesus. Have a good one.
Okay.
Whatever. So they continued, though. Marcia and Brian continued to hang out with each other and play functions. There is a Dulcimer Society that they go to, and
what?
They both hang out there.
Oh, boy.
How do you find this whole underground society?
You go to a Ren fair.
I guess so.
Just one. You'll find it.
It's all there. In July of 82, she saw Brian at the Fiddlers Festival. People are booking these things. A Fiddlers Festival, Ren fairs, dulcimer societies. What the fuck is...
Worse, people are patronizing that.
They're going
and watching.
There has to be members, enough members to support this. So there are people doing this. How are they finding this? How is this happening? I am fascinated with whatever underground society they have going on here. Fascinated by it. I'm always fascinated whenever anybody gets like a little society going, as long as it's not like destructive to people.
Right, when it's fringe like that and weird.
Yeah, but when it's like this, they're not bothering anybody. No. They're fucking playing fiddles and shit. Like you can dulcimer to your heart's content. No one's going to be, hurt from that at all. This sort of thing I have no problem with whatsoever. I don't want to do it, but go crazy if you want to. But yeah, I'm fascinated by it. Also, Battleground. I don't know what the hell that was.
I imagine dress up like the fucking...
Battleground. I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like the barbarians of the time and fucking fight? I see it in the park all the time.
Well, the problem is the Battleground one got broken up by a rainstorm. Oh. And apparently... during it, before the rainstorm, he had been, in her mind, avoiding her. Brian had been avoiding Marcia, she thought.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, man. He's talking to me. He's just kind of looks like he's trying to get away from me, trying to avoid me. So then the rain came. So she told her friend and wrote in her diary as well, quote, he caused a rainstorm to avoid seeing me.
Whoa.
That's
oh my!
You made it rain.
Oh Jesus!
Oh boy,
what is happening?
That is next fucking level.
Now be between her ears.
Yeah. Now at this point, she starts to tell people that she believes Brian is in fact Jesus.
Okay.
Like the actual. He's Christ.
Yeah.
Like that. Just not like a Christ figure or a prophet. He's the actual Jesus. Yeah. So there he is. Yeah, and. She says some people around him, some of his friends, are keeping him from realizing his Christ potential.
Oh, they're holding him back.
They're holding his Jesus back. That's what they're doing. He's like a jack in the box, and it's on its last crank, and they refuse to pull it over and just let it crank and let him pop out and turn water into wine and shit. They're saying that you're keeping him down. Which some people like to keep their friends down. It makes them feel better.
He's surrounded by a bunch of Judas.
Yeah. I mean, crabs in a bucket. Like, that's the original crabs in a bucket, I guess, right there.
Yeah.
So crabs in a bucket, they always say in comedy, people don't want people to get ahead of them. So they like crabs in a bucket. They pull them back in, down.
That would be if they all believe they're Jesus.
Yeah. But this is which comics do.
Yeah.
Well, most of them.
Yeah.
Comics and doctors. So they believe they're Jesus. Because to heal someone is like a magic trick. So that would give someone a God complex, and to be able to go in front of hundreds of people cold, and they don't fucking know who you are, and make them laugh.
Forget it.
How many people do you know personally that can do that?
Not many.
Not fucking many. So that's what it's now. Don't get us wrong. It's not a godlike thing. It's just a stupid skill that you've practiced enough to be able to do it.
It's a magic trick.
But in a deranged narcissistic head, people go, "I'm God. Look what I did." They're following me. It's fucking crazy.
I bet David Blaine feels that way.
Probably. Yeah, I would assume so. So
even though he knows what's happening, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he still and he makes it. What, David? Calm down. Do you hate him?
There's something about that guy. Okay, let's David Blaine now. When he was back in the day when he first came out,
the street magic,
and he went on like David Letterman and like did a couple of cool card tricks that looked like he was a fucking warlock. Okay, I remember him doing this card trick where they slow mo, even in slow mo, frame by frame. You can't see it change. It just did it.
Just does it. Right.
It just happens. Like you don't see. So that was pretty cool. But that's not a reason to be famous. No. He was just a guy who's going to make good tips on the street, doing cool tricks.
In the subway, he's going to kill it.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm going to bury myself, in the middle of Mount Everest. Yeah. In the very center base of it, and then I'm going to explode out of the top of it like a fucking volcano. with the words David and fireworks above me. And that's a little far, I think. I think you're taking it too far.
He is named after a guy in the Bible. I'll bet he thinks he's Jesus.
He thinks he's something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he thinks he is, but he thinks he's something.
He's quite biblical.
Yeah, I feel like he learned card tricks to get girls to fuck him.
Yeah, because that face ain't going to do it.
Yeah, he was like, well, that's something.
Yeah.
Not that that's going to get that, but it's better than having no approach at all. At least it's a cold, you can break the ice with, some crazy magical wild shit.
You
At
can
least
put that wedding ring somewhere fantastic.
There you go. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So, back to Marcia here. Now, Marcia feels like she's honed in on the source of what's keeping Brian from his his Christ potential.
Yeah.
Okay. And also her potential to be with him because she's got an idea of who she is as well that we'll talk about. Now, she doesn't know who the person is, but she doesn't know what form this will take, but she knows what the force behind it is that's keeping Brian down. She refers in her journal to a, quote, lady of illusion, a lady of illusion with red hair, holding Brian's love for her and his Christ-like potential in chains. Okay. That's just, he can't achieve it, and she can't.
Some ginger is holding him back.
This lady of illusion. God damn it.
Down.
Fucking bitch. Every time this lady of illusion, she gets me. So, Brian, a little more about Brian. He says when he's 10, he went to an asylum, what he refers to as a, quote, insane asylum. Said it wasn't a nice place. He said there was atrocities that he saw. He also tells her of a time when this might have been probably one of the reasons why he was in an institution in the 50s. He had a boyhood fantasy where, I guess some delusion, that the numbers 666 were branded on his right hand. So he thought he was like the devil for a short time as a child based on this delusion. And then he was put in an institution, and I don't know what came first.
Good news. A chick thinks you're the opposite.
So, yeah, you got that. He said that he also, this is what he told, they kind of shared their secrets, him and Marcia. They shared, she told him crazy shit, like, I think you're Jesus, and he told her, hey, I had a fantasy about having 666 on my hand and was put in an insane asylum. They also talked in later meetings about how they have, he has a theory that angels come down and mate with humans and then return to heaven.
Oh, these two. What the fuck, man?
That's his theory.
Oh, boy.
So, I don't even know what the fuck to say about that. What do you say about that?
A lot. Get help.
I mean, yeah.
You're both nuts.
So, in May, she writes her will for some reason.
In her 40s.
No reason why. She's not sick. She just writes her will. She's starting to have a little mental. She's going a little off the deep end here. So she writes. This is for her family and friends and everything. When she thinks at this point, she writes in her diary that, or in her actual will, that she's probably going to be killed by Brian Thornton. Marcia is, because she's a sinner. And he's Jesus.
Okay.
So the only way because Jesus kills sinners.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
And a lawyer read that and was like, that'll do.
That's fine.
The court
well, this isn't notarized. This isn't notarized. Right. This is just, she writes this down, kind of puts it in her stuff for like her family and
privacy
friends.
of her own home.
Yeah, she's not deeming property. She's not doling out actual things that can be measured. Okay. In her will, she says, quote, to Jerry, play and sing, play and sing. Your music fills the universe. To Cindy, you are beautiful in your diversity. You attract to all your many facets. That's not.
Why don't you put that in your will?
She's not willing anything.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's more like a letter to her friends. Yeah. It's strange.
And willing their own energy to do something? What?
Yeah.
You're beautiful. Keep doing that.
Keep doing that. Hey, keep that up, Chickie.
Put that in your will?
Hey, sweetheart. Wink, wink. Keep that up, will you? So in a letter to Brian over the summer, she writes, this is like July-ish, she writes, quote, I am always fascinated by the movie Night of the Generals, which I have not seen. I assume it's an older movie. I watch it with rapt and adoring attention to the performances of Peter O'Toole, who's an amazing actor, as the clean, pure, beautiful, and untouchable Nazi general who slices and hacks to pieces the prostitute because she offers him too little.
Peter did that?
Peter O'Toole is apparently a prostitute shopping Nazi at one point.
I had no idea.
I did not see this movie at all.
I saw him in high spirits and loved him.
Totally missed that one. Seems like he would have been great in Intolerable Bastards. They could have put, what's his name, right out of the... When I say Intolerable... Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with me?
That sounds like a better title, though.
Because we just watched that Intolerable Cruelty on PS I Hate This Movie like 2 weeks ago.
Intolerable Bastards.
So Intolerable Bastards.
You made a new movie.
That's what I would call that, which would be a great movie. Yeah. That would be anyone that
Intolerable Bastards with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Well, it's anyone who's in that movie being hunted down by the crew from Inglourious Bastards and having the bear Jew bash their fucking heads open. That's what I would like to see.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's what I would like to see, and only for that. Her characters in the movie, everybody in the movie. I'm not saying I want to see Catherine Zeta-Jones hunted down. I don't. Intolerable bastards. Jesus Christ. So she's apparently loves and adoring attention. She says adoring attention to the performance. I don't know. So she picks up 3 pieces of jewelry. Now, this is something she's very proud of. These represent the sun, the star, and the moon, these 3 pieces, okay? She purchased the jewelry at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis, where she works as a volunteer on Saturdays. She calls the 3 necklaces, quote, her potent jewelry.
Okay.
So
it's strong stuff.
It's potent. Yeah, it'll knock your socks off. I'll impregnate a woman from across the room if I have this necklace on. You have no idea.
Sun, the moon, and the stars.
It's just boom. Look at you. You're 6 months along, by the way. That's I didn't just. It's not. You're.
Skip the prenatals.
That's
they're not going to help you
that
anymore.
Kid's going to come out walking. Right. Don't you worry about it. It's going to run out of there. And then there's a hat. Okay. There's a hat. Now the hat will come up about 30 years later as well. The hat is insane. The hat is a large, broad-rimmed, floppy brown hat.
Yeah.
Has a leather band around it.
Right.
And is adorned with the Star of David, an earring, several locks of Brian Thornton's hair. I'm not shitting you, Jimmy.
In the band.
No, like stuck to it, like a fisherman's hat. Like instead of lures, she's got like a Star of David, an earring,
and chunks of dude's hair,
locks of his hair, a peacock feather, a yellow cord. I don't know,
like an extension,
like
cord?
just a piece of cord. I don't know. Yeah, it just says a yellow cord,
all right,
and a French cross. Which I think is like the
one with the circle around it,
like the Nordiques logo. I think like the fleur de lis or whatever it is.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I think that's not a French cross. I don't know what a French cross is. That's a fleur de lis. I don't know.
Is it the one for like apartheid? Is that a French cross?
I highly doubt it. No,
the one with the circle.
No, I don't know what the fuck it is. Either way, it's on her fucking hat. Okay. So apparently, her friend said that her hat she wore constantly over the summer of 1982. Always had this batshit hat on.
Yeah.
Okay, crazy fucking hat. Symbolized, they looked at it as the symbol of her mental decline. Like, literally, the more
she Velcro and weird shit to it.
If you saw her in the hat like every day, that meant she was really fucking off the deep end that week. Like, watch out, all right?
Well, a French cross could be a fleur de lis, James, or
Maybe.
It could be a fucking bananas French cross with like a double cross.
Maybe.
So it could be either of the two.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
That was like
she's got that shit on it. On her
there
fucking
you go.
hat.
More shit dangling off her hat. So this is weird.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing to wear.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
You know, like an everyday hat. It's a little strange. And they're like, especially the hair. They're a little freaked out by the hair. They get the feather, maybe. That's interesting. But the rest of it's a little odd. And the Star of David, that's fine if you want to put that on your hat. But I don't know. She's not Jewish. That's odd as well.
Adding that with that old French cross, it's very strange.
The whole thing's weird. Yeah. So it's a coexist hat from the 1982. She made the first coexist material. Unfortunately, it was a floppy brown hat that didn't catch on. So, somebody took her vision and went bumper sticker with it and really cleaned up. But
I want to see it.
Not her.
It's got to be the hideous hat, right?
It's weird, it sounds like. So he tells her at this point that now in late July and into in the late weeks of July, he's had an on and off sexual relationship, Brian and Marcia.
Yeah.
It's kind of on and off.
Yeah.
In late July, they have another little sexual foray, okay? And we'll talk about that because it's a little weird what ends up happening. He tells her, though, that he lives with a guy that he's in a relationship with currently.
Yeah.
He lives with her, and that week, this is the last week of July, he's had sex with her, and he's been with the guy that he lives with, and he also had sex with Shelley Smith.
Oh.
The deceased woman, Gerald's wife, is what he tells. This is what Brian tells Marcia. So he's telling her I'm banging everybody.
Cock's in demand.
It's highly in demand. You don't play a harpsichord for nothing.
It's true.
As a kid, I said, "How am I going to get that ass?" And I was like, "Lead guitar? No, too common."
Yeah.
See, everyone does that. You're going to stand out with the harpsichord.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So, so in late July, Brian stayed with Marcia in her apartment in Plainfield, where they this is where they had kind of a sexual relationship because they were going to some festival. He didn't want to kiss her. He told her that he couldn't kiss her.
Yeah.
And she said, well, you don't kiss anybody? And he said, well, I kiss the guy that I'm with. I'll kiss him, but I can't kiss you.
Okay.
So in his mind, it was like it was almost, from what I gather, like he was in a relationship with this guy and he was, in his mind, cheating on this guy because they're in a relationship, they live together with this woman. But if he doesn't kiss her, then it's not cheating.
Okay.
So if you've seen the In-Betweeners movie, it's basically that.
Yeah.
It's Neil the whole time going, well, I didn't kiss her, so it's not cheating. I only put the tip in just a little bit, so it's that's not cheating,
Prostitutes won't kiss guys because that is girlfriend stuff.
And it's also really gross and a way to spread tons of disease with people
is.
you fucking not good. So they learned their lesson on that one a long fucking time ago. So that's how that works. He's not a prostitute,
Right.
I'd say, but you're just giving people who don't want to
He's sleeping with several people at the same time.
Yeah, but I feel like this is his way of not cheating. Like that's intimate sex is a different thing. So that's fine, and that's whatever your value system is in terms of cheating is up to. It's all relative to your relationship.
Yeah,
whatever everybody does. So I don't know. It's up to you. Enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. He also said he could kiss Shelley Smith though too, which was weird. But he couldn't kiss her, but he could bang her.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sure he asked her to take her hat off first, but either way. So he tells her all of this. This is interesting, obviously.
Yeah.
Saturday, July 31st, 1982, Brian and Marcia attend the Eagle Creek, a festival at Eagle Creek there. And so they get back to her apartment, and he was staying overnight because they were going back to the festival the next day. That's why he was staying there, because they were going to a festival near her house. And he said that this was the night that she told him that in her belief, okay, I don't know how to put this. He's Adam, and she's Eve.
Okay.
And, that's what she believes. Some days he's Jesus, today he's Adam. They're going even farther back now.
Yeah.
And she's Eve. He later on would tell people that he thought this was just another way of her to try to get in his pants again. So he said he rebuffed this particular advance.
Okay.
So that's how this worked. Now, Marcia believed Brian here at that point started telling him that he is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. That's a fact. And, she's decided now, she figured it out. First she thought one thing, then she thought Adam and Eve. Now she's saying, okay, you're Jesus Christ, I'm the Virgin Mary, and I need you to be back in my womb. That's what she tells him.
So she now is his mother.
But also she wants to fuck him because that's how he can re-enter her womb.
Oh my. That's
what she's saying. Okay. This is what happened.
All right.
A human being said that to another human being with presumably a straight face. That's,
or a very excitable.
Or like, huh?
Right?
Right?
Now you get it.
Huh? What do you think?
What the fuck, man?
And he was like,
oh, boy.
Yeah, cool. So
that'll drive you away from chicks forever.
I'm going to go to sleep early tonight, I think, because I got a big day tomorrow. So August 1st comes around, 1982. It's Marcia's 44th birthday today, on August 1st. So she, at this point, decides that she talks to Shelley Smith later on that night, and she talks to her on the phone earlier that day because they're going to go over Shelley and Gerald's house that night for a poetry reading and a harpsichord jam throwdown session.
Oh, yeah.
So Shelley asked her, do you really believe that you're the Virgin Mary? And she said she did. And Shelley said, well, I think you should see a psychiatrist probably, because Shelley's a sane person. She
said that over the phone to her, right?
Yeah. I think you should probably see a psychiatrist if you really, but in like a jokey way. Like if you really think, like, I don't think she thought she was serious. So she was like, if you really think that, you should see a psychiatrist, dude. Like, like you would tell someone if you don't want to be like, are you serious? I will get a butterfly net right now because you are fucking nuts. That's crazy. So, on her birthday, she gave Brian, on Marcia's birthday, Marcia gave Brian a present. Because that's what you do on your birthday.
She's given presents.
Yeah, she gave him. Okay. She gave him a book titled "A Prince Who Knew His Fate," and Inside, she signed it to Brian in honor of my 44th birthday in the present lifetime.
Wow.
In the present, 44th in this present lifetime. Yeah.
44 more.
Yes. That's what happened
and
there.
She signed it.
Yeah, and she signed it. Now, they go to the festival.
You give anybody anything on their birthday and you sign it, you're a fucking asshole.
That's weird. Yeah. Thank you for defacing this gift that you gave me. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Got any headshots, you fucking dork?
How about that? I'm gonna hang it on my wall, frame it. So that night, August 1st here, she goes back to her apartment and she writes a letter to her 15-year-old son in Albuquerque. She writes a letter to him saying, quote, last Tuesday night at the folk dance, I met the most beautiful little girl. She is 2.5 years old, sat with me, gazed at me, touched my face, bounced with me, helped me play tin whistle, danced with me in my arms. She was all excited about seeing some little girl happy. Okay. So that's normal. It's a little creepy, but she's a nice motherly Quaker lady. I'll give her that. That's fine. If she wants to be excited about a kid, that's fine. Oh my God. So the last time Brian and the last time Brian and Shelley Smith had sex was July 28th in a wooded area outside Lafayette known as Black Rock.
This is really happening.
That happened, actually.
This is not him spewing fucking
No,
tales.
they were
really
fucking. Yeah, they were really fucking
right.
out in the woods somewhere. So this is kind of a torrid little affair here. And then on the 31st is when he ended up banging Marcia again, the night where he originally rebuffed her, and then probably a couple glasses of, of the wine that he turned from the tap. They probably got it on now. So she writes to her son in another letter that thankfully never gets mailed. So watch out, because this is not the letter you want to get from your mom if you're a 15-year-old. In a letter to her son, she writes that she was banging Brian Thornton.
Oh, Jesus. And
that he got down on all fours and ran around the room making noises like an animal. Okay. That's what she said.
You're 15. Let me describe my sex
Imagine hearing your 44-year-old mother, A, is just having sex with some guy, number one. You don't want to hear anything about that. Then she's getting into details of it being like weird and freaky.
Right.
He's getting down on all fours, barking like a dog and shit. Whoa. Like, what Ghostbusters hadn't even come out yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even have that to go on. So...
Down on all fours.
Shit.
I don't even want to read the rest of this, Mom. I don't know what's about to happen. It's gross. Yeah,
I'm throwing up,
right.
And I'm never opening another letter from my mother again. Cease contact, Mom, please. Then she wrote in her journal, quote, "This will be a very strange day, a singular day, probably the last day of my earthly life. Tonight, I meet the lady of illusion with the flowing red hair.
Or Jolene.
My mission as I perceive it, chopping the head off a red-headed creature."
Oh,
that's what she said. She keeps that. Yeah.
She didn't send that one out. She kept that one. That's her own.
That's her own. She also wrote that she went around that day and cleaned the 18 mirrors in the living room of her Plainfield apartment. Who the fuck has 18 mirrors in their living room?
Yeah.
That is weird.
In your house altogether.
This is in a living room of an apartment.
Wow.
That seems like overkill on the mirrors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she talked to Shelley on the phone earlier that month and said, quote, "I once said that I hope to write a sequel to the story of John the Baptist. Now I know I do not have to write it. I and 2 others are going to live it instead." This is what she said. Mm-hmm. "It's about a lioness, a leopard, and a lamb. I have always known about the lioness who would do battle for the lamb. I had not known until this night with whom I would be engaged in battle." Oh, boy. This is what she said, yeah. So that night of the, Jesus Christ, of August 1st, they go to the Brian and Marcia go to the poetry reading jam session at Gerald and Shelley Smith's apartment. Right. Shelley Smith and Marcia, this is the first time they meet face to face. They've talked on the phone.
Really?
Intimately about this type of shit. I'm going to write about John the Baptist.
She's never seen this woman in her life.
They've never met before. Because they live in a different town. She lives in Plainfield, and the Smiths live in Lafayette, so they don't really run into each other. This is the first night, like, oh, I'll take you over to meet the Smiths who you've been talking to on the phone.
Just on the phone talking about I'm married.
People used to just do that, though. They used to just talk on the phone because that was the only incoming anything in the house. There's no fucking internet or
People
social
do it on the
media.
internet now.
That's what I mean. It's the same thing. So they meet for the first time. It's just a small get together in their apartment. There's, a few people there, not that many, that sort of thing. Apparently, the gathering breaks up, and it's around 2 o'clock in the morning ish. It kind of breaks up late night. 2 a.m. Gerald Smith, he went to bed early. They're out there harpsichording and reading poetry. He's sleeping because he's got to be up at 2 something in the morning to go
through papers,
to get the papers out at 3. So he gets out of bed to get to work, and he found Marcia and Shelley engaged in a conversation in the living room, hanging out in there. So he goes out, talks to them, says hello to everybody. Everybody's, whatever. And then while he's getting ready, everybody leaves. Brian leaves, Marcia leaves, a couple other people leave, everybody's gone. Gerald continues to get ready, and Shelley goes and lays down in bed because by now it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So he leaves about 3 o'clock, Gerald does, and he says that Shelley was in bed asleep when he left. He says he closed the door carefully but didn't lock it. Once again, what are you talking about? Yeah. So he returns home that night, and we know what happened there. Now, what the fuck happened while he was there? Well, let's start with Marcia saying this, quote, I wore star and moon and necklaces, 2 opal earrings, and a Star of David earring. I knew I had to wear the jewelry to signify who I am. Yeah. Signify who I am.
Tell who?
Wow, the Lady of Illusion.
Yeah.
She just walked in the front door of the Smiths' apartment. She came back about 6 a.m. So she went home, came back about 6 a.m., went through the front door and went to a downstairs bathroom first, didn't go to anybody. There, she took all of her clothes off, got completely naked in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, gets completely naked, then proceeds to the kitchen where she grabs a paring knife. Now, a paring knife is a little tiny knife. Yeah. It's a little fucker to get. Like
slant on the top.
There you go, a little paring knife. So she grabs one of those, completely nude, by the way, walking around the house with a paring knife. She goes to the bedroom where she finds Shelley asleep on her back in bed. Okay. She walks over, kind of stands there for a minute, and then just stabs her in the throat with the knife.
Oh, boy.
Right in the throat. It severed an artery. So as you can imagine, there is a motherfuckload of blood. I mean, it is wild. But she doesn't die right away. She just awakens with blood spraying out and looking to survive and fight and struggle. So, which is frightening here, doesn't kill her, obviously. Shelley screams out, oh my God, you're hurting me. And obviously, is what she does. She tries to get out of the bed and get out of the bedroom and run away, does Shelley, but Marcia catches up to her and slashes her throat repeatedly with the paring knife, just attacks her throat with the paring knife until she finally gets her down. During this whole thing, Marcia's got some scratches and things on her too, and Marcia is hacking away at poor Shelley here. So apparently, she said she pulls Shelley Smith through a bathroom and into the hallway where Shelley collapses from an artery being severed and being stabbed a bunch of other times too from loss of blood. Following the collapse, there she's not moving. Marcia realizes this paring knife isn't really the best, most efficient weapon that she could have.
Small one.
Yeah, so she goes to the kitchen to get a better knife.
Oh, boy.
Got to have that. So she grabs a bigger knife. She grabs a few knives because she doesn't know which one's going to do the job here. So with a butcher knife, she attempts to saw Shelley's head off.
Oh, boy.
Not with a power saw, not with an axe or something that is meant for this. With a butcher knife, she tries to saw.
Good Lord.
Just cut it like it's a rump roast.
Right.
Through this poor woman's neck. She can't get it off, though. It's hard with a knife once you get to the muscles are thick, and then once you get to spinal cord and spine, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So she gets a little pissed off and looks around. She's like, what the fuck am I going to do now? So she grabs a large mirror that's there. It's a big, giant plate glass mirror.
Right.
She grabs it, brings it over, and tries to drop it on her neck like a guillotine.
Holy shit.
The problem is a mirror, though, doesn't have sharp glass edges. A mirror has a frame. Right. So the mirror doesn't cut her head off. The mirror just causes the mirror to break and shatter into 1,000 pieces of plate glass everywhere. Plate glass mirror. So
Jesus God.
Yeah. So Marcia then grabs a chunk of broken mirror glass and tries to saw Shelley's head off with a piece of shattered mirror glass.
Okay.
Think about just the animalisticness of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab this sharp piece. It's going to cut me
it's
too.
Gonna fuck me up.
And I'm just going to fucking hack at something. That is crazy. She can't get the head completely off.
Yeah.
So she gives up and goes back downstairs back into the bathroom where she showers up and then puts her clean clothes back on that she had before. And she said that it was only a little bit of skin and muscle that had held Shelley's head on her body. And she later on would say about it, as she's stabbing her, she said that she thought to herself, quote, "Is this a human body? It felt like rubber. I didn't expect red blood. I had to take her head off or she'd rejuvenate into a snake."
Oh, boy.
So, duh. Jesus.
Mike, she's so delusional.
So what does she do now?
Yeah.
Run away? No, she sits down, makes some phone calls.
At the house?
At their apartment.
Oh,
sits down on the phone bill. It says that she calls 2 calls. She calls 7-minute call to Plainfield for her one son, and then a 53-minute call to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
To her other kid.
An hour. So she got there at 6. I mean, she's pushing to where Gerald's almost going to run into her when he comes home. 53-minute call. This is right. The phone is right within eye line of Shelley. I mean, it's right there. You can see her. She tells both her sons that she did it. She says, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to call and tell you that I killed the serpent." So that happened. Killed a serpent, and currently I'm waiting for Christ to come and chop the serpent into 12 pieces. Because that's what he does. Right. So I'm just going to hang and wait. That's why she was hanging and making the phone call, because she said she had to wait for Jesus to come and chop the body up, so she knew that the snake was dead.
As a kid, are you like freaked out, or are you just like, my mom's really lost it?
I don't. That's what I mean. I would assume as your kids, your mom isn't right. That's why you'd live with your dad.
Yeah.
Not that you live with your dad. Everybody lives with their dad, because I went and lived with my dad. Doesn't mean my mom was crazy, but if one of your parents was nuts, you'd probably want to go live with the other one. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So she also called Brian as well, and but Brian's roommate wouldn't wake him up because it was like 6:30 in the morning, and he's like, "I'm not fucking waking her up."
He's been out getting ass all night. I can't do it. She
did say to her son, quote, "Since I couldn't get the head off, I had failed my mission."
Okay.
I had to get the head off. I failed. So then she left the house, left the apartment, and went to her car. And while she got in her car, she just noticed that her hands were cut to shit because she was using broken pieces of plate glass as fucking weapons. So in doing that, she goes, "Oh wow, I better go to the hospital." So she stops at a nearby hospital, and they remove glass out of her hands and fix her all up and bandage her. Then she drove around Lafayette for a few hours.
Okay.
Just drove around hanging out. Then she stopped at Brian's house at about noon. Stopped by, he wasn't home. So instead of leaving, she just sat on the porch swing and took a nap.
Yeah, because she's exhausted by now.
She's had a lot of hacking and everything else.
Sleep tonight.
He returned home about 8:30. When Gerald returned home and he discovered the body, the police, when they did their investigation, they obtained all the names of the persons who had been at the home that night, especially. Right. And Gerald told them, everybody else out there. The police were conducting the investigation while they were in the apartment, doing the crime scene. Brian called and asked to speak to Shelley. And they said, well, not quite, because she's dead. Yeah. So that's going to happen there. And they said, would you mind coming down and talking to us? You're one of the people that are on our list because you were here last night anyway. So he said, sure. He went and talked to him. He said, I'm not a resident of here. I live somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. He said that, he reiterated who was at the party because they were trying to make sure they got everybody. So 2 plainclothes officers in an unmarked car were dispatched to Brian's home, and they introduced themselves and said they were investigating Shelley Smith's death. And they asked Marcia, because she's out on the porch swing, if she'd be willing to be interviewed. And she said sure, and she got in the police car. They didn't cuff her. There's no guns drawn or anything. She asked if she was under arrest, and she was told that she wasn't. Then they asked her about, was she there, and that sort of thing. Was she there the night before? So this is pretty fucked up here. So anyway, Marcia, they search her stuff. They find a photograph of Shelley. as she was found in her apartment. And it is the front of her it's the front of, you can see her. She's got like dirt and plant vines and shit all over her, and mirror pieces. It's a fucking mess. Apparently she took a goddamn Polaroid.
She has it with her.
Just to prove to Jesus that she did it. I don't know what the hell it's for. So they said she stopped in the emergency room about 7:00 for cuts on her hand. That's when they talked to them. So when they talked to Marcia, they give her Miranda rights. She signs a waiver. She says that she was at the Smith home until about 2 a.m., but she doesn't know anything about the killing. I don't know anything about it. They said, well, why are your hands all cut up and bandaged and bleeding? And she said it was a result of a fall on the brick sidewalk at their house.
Right.
Fell down and, just...
Also, you ever go hard on a fucking harp?
Oh, it'll rip you up. Yeah. Play the harp a while, and then we'll get back. Play the dulcimer, and then we'll talk, okay? So then they let her use the bathroom and let her have drinks and everything. They kind of played her soft. They didn't come hard on her with the interrogation. She asked again if she was under arrest, and they said no, not under arrest at all. They're recording this whole thing, and this is when her weird shit starts to come out on the tape. She said that she was one of the first few people to see her and all that sort of thing. Included were. In her purse were letters with threats against the Lady of Illusion and the necessity of severing the head of the evil serpent, because you got to do that, obviously. Wow. She also provided a pretty shitty explanation of her activities from 2:00 in the morning until she sought medical attention as well. So there was that. When she talks here, she says, look, yes, I'm a 44-year-old mother. I'm a Christian, but what you don't understand is I am also 5,743 years old. I'm the mother of the universe, and I'm an instrument of Yahweh.
Okay.
So,
sure.
In case you were wondering, that's actually what's happening here.
Mother of the universe.
Mother of the universe. Yeah, Yahweh, put me in charge of all
the universe is 6,000 years old.
Well, clearly, that's what she's saying.
At the most.
Yeah, that's a most, clearly. Yeah, she's really getting down to the letter of the law here.
All right.
She said that she describes her world as a place where, quote, where the beast and the angel coexist, where the beautiful and the terrifying are interlaced even at the same times. This is what she's telling the cops.
Right.
And they're like, do we even need to?
Right.
Can we just
high five? We got her, right? This is obviously her, right?
There's guys in white coats just going to come in and grab her and take her away while the Benny Hill music plays, right? Because this is fucking bonkers. There's sane and insane and guilty and not. Is there a bonkers? Because if that's it, if there's an actual.
Also, case closed.
God.
We surely have somebody that's capable of murder.
Then she told them that Brian Thornton is Christ.
Yep.
And that Shelley had to be killed. Don't you understand anything? Shelley had to be killed because she was preventing Brian from realizing he was Christ.
Got it.
She's holding him back.
Okay.
He's duh. She says, though, but she said, I didn't kill a woman. I killed a snake. I know what I did. So, in fact, she said it's not. Okay. She said it wasn't just a snake. It was the devil's lead snake.
Oh.
The head of the snakes of the devil. So the HSIC.
So we thank her?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what she's going for. You're welcome. I killed the devil's head snake. What the fuck? She also... She let them search her stuff and all that sort of shit here, and they found the letter to her son with all the weird shit in it. Then she starts describing how she did it in her own words. She said, quote, I took her by the hair, and she said she got out of bed. We struggled. I just remember twirling around. I just kept shouting, Yahweh's kingdom come.
Oh, no.
That's the other thing. She's nude.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up to this. She's nude, trying to stab you, screaming fucking crazy religious shit at you.
Woke you up by plunging the lime knife in your throat.
This is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, you wanted to slice lemons for the iced tea, and this is what you get.
Oh, boy.
I shouted it over and over again because I knew it was the battle I was destined for. This is what she's been trained for. She said by then she was down. I had to saw the base of the neck. One of the knives broke because there's a knife that she actually broke the handle off of it doing this. I went into the kitchen, found another knife. Later, there was a big mirror with a wooden frame. I dropped it down on her neck. The mirror broke. Then I started using a big piece of mirror to saw. The head of the snake had to be taken off. Duh.
Clearly.
This is in her recorded statement. I figured I had not done a very good job. I recalled something about crushing or smiting the head of the serpent. That's what she said. Yahweh puts within my reach the things I'm supposed to use. I just have to reach out for them. So I went over and got a big plant and I dropped it on the head. I then tried to pull her head off by the hair. So, yeah, she just tried to pull it off.
Like put your feet on her shoulder?
Yeah, just tried to pull it off by her hair. And he said, still, it just didn't work. And so she said, well, I guess I'm a failure. Yeah. I'll call my kids.
Oh, boy.
Wow. So they found the knife with the broken blade that they believe was the first initial attack. 5 other knives were found near Shelley, but could not be submitted into evidence because the Lafayette police failed to establish a proper chain of custody.
God damn it.
God damn it, that shit kills me.
Oh, boy.
It's like, I get that that's not what you do every day. Yeah. I get that you don't have crazy crime scenes like this every day, but speeding tickets and all that, whatever, but like, this is your main job. This is the stuff we actually give a fuck about.
This is what we need you for.
This is the main thing. All the rest of the shit can fall to the side. If you solved every murder, people wouldn't give 2 fucks about anything else happening. Right. Every fucking murder gets solved. It's amazing. 100%. You kill me, you're going to fucking jail. People will be okay with everything else. Don't fuck this shit up.
Gladly pay the speeding ticket.
Yeah, this is bad, the chain of custody type of thing. There's no excuse for that. That there's a procedure that you didn't follow, and every force has a procedure in place
and training.
For what to do.
Told
and
what
training.
to do.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a supervisory problem or what, but people are actually surprised, though. Apparently, people that knew her before, this is out of character completely.
Knew Marcia?
A new Marcia. They don't get it. Paul Hardin's a guy who is he used to be a prosecutor somewhere in the state. He said that he's known her most of his life, and he said, quote, "Is this the Marcia Heald I know? It just seems totally out of character." Her Aunt Ruth also said, quote, "I'm just stunned. Our family has never had anything like this happen before. We're quiet Quakers."
Well, if you had this several times in your family's super fucked up.
Well, I would say that would be a problem. This is normal. Run of the mill. Her dad did this shit too.
Better well be out of the ordinary.
Her dad butchers people all the time. No big deal. So Marcia wants bail.
Oh boy,
she wants bail. The state filed to get her bail set at $5 million. Her attorneys asked for $55,000. It's a little less. Yeah. So they ask her. This is a pretrial thing, or with a hearing for the bail. They asked her, quote, "Were you ever arrested for anything?" And she says, "Speeding. Does that count?" And the judge says, quote, "I think the evidence of her history and her life and times in Indiana do indicate that she will appear." But that wasn't the issue. Also, she'll probably show up, but that's not the problem. She said if she was released, she intended to live with her parents. And then the prosecutor said that it might not be with her parents. It would, if she did get out, it would be somewhere that we would designate. And they go back and forth. And she said, well, quote, "My mother said the house is crowded. We don't really need not enough room for you, Yahweh, fucking Christ, the serpent lady, your hat. There's just a lot going on that we don't have room for. Sorry."
It's a little crowded already.
It's a little crowded. Yeah. So the judge said, "Is there any other reason that they might not want you there?" "I don't know." Cut a lady's head off, probably. Nobody really wants that around. And then she says, quote, "They probably think I'm a different person than I used to be." And he asked if she thought that she could get her job back at the Indiana State Library. I cut a lady's head off, and it's in every fucking newspaper.
Right.
Do you think I can could OJ get his job back with NBC Sports? On June 13th? No, he couldn't, because his fucking wife had no head. That's the problem. You can't go get your job back afterwards while you're up for a fucking murder one.
They never made another Naked Gun.
No.
It's done. Everything's over.
Her answer was, quote, "I think not." Yeah, that was the only thing there. She said, quote, "I wasn't intending to work. I was intending on living in seclusion and preparing my defense," which is what she would need to do. So they said also that it's not clear what extent her parents are willing to offer assistance in terms of money or anything like that, or helping with the bond. And she's also pleaded insanity at this point. she's going to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. So they said the insanity charge with the murder and the risk of non-appearance. So, this is probably, she's up. They're saying this is a death penalty crime. We're not going to let her go wander around. This is basically, they also said a couple of things like, we get that she's like a librarian, but like if this was just some dude who worked at a gas station, you would say no bail in 2 seconds. We wouldn't even be fucking talking about it. Right. Just because she's a librarian doesn't mean she's not trying to cut people's heads off. This is crazy. So the pretrial, she pleads not guilty by reason of insanity. She will not wear shoes.
Ever?
Will not wear shoes. She shows up at court with no fucking shoes on.
What is that?
I have pictures of her walking on the sidewalk outside with no shoes on. She's in the court. If they make her wear shoes into the court, as soon as she sits down, she takes her shoes off.
What?
No shoes. Will not wear shoes in the courtroom, which is probably... There's a minimal.
That's a dead giveaway.
Shirt and shoes required. Yeah. It's court. It's not an Arby's.
You can't even go to a gas station. No shirt, no shoes.
You can't go to Arby's and they sell poison. Right. You can go here, allegedly. I'm sure there's something poisonous in there. But yeah, you can't go...
Says my gut.
...to a shit... Yeah, you can't go get diarrhea for that, but you can... It's insane. So she pleads that. The judge rules that she is competent to stand trial after psychiatrists offer all sorts of opinions.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Psychiatrists are in there. Judge says, no, you're good to stand trial.
Guy last week... What?
The 82 was every article's like, this is a bad time to plead insanity. Apparently there was a big uproar publicly about, quote, bullshit insanity defenses. So this was like, anytime you pled insanity, it was like, yeah, right. This was the start of that. This was when we stopped, when we went into a period of not believing anybody was mentally ill. Okay. It was just all, bullshit. There's no such thing as that. That was like a thing of that. We went through for a while. If you murder someone, you can't be crazy. It's like, actually, that's a crazy thing to do. I would check that first.
Wouldn't that be like the number one?
What's the evidence that you're crazy? Well, tried to cut a lady's head off, number one. That's pretty crazy, right? Yeah. And then you go into the Yahweh stuff after that.
You say you're how many years old?
Yeah, that right there, I think, is a giveaway.
Yeah.
At her hearing, she also said this, quote, "It was written 2,500 years ago. It would be at Lebanon." That's where they moved the trial because of publicity, Lebanon. So she said they knew it 2,500 years ago. It was predicted that this trial would be in Lebanon.
Oh, boy.
They knew.
Yeah.
It is Yahweh's will. Human beings have no knowledge of my world. They shouldn't meddle. I am not a human being. I am an animal. I became an animal in March.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I don't disagree.
But she's basically saying you have no dominion over me because I'm not human. Right. Like, you can say what you want, but I'm a fucking god animal. Like, clearly this is not going to stick.
Oh boy.
It's better than having a good lawyer being a god animal.
Well, then for the time you're here, we're going to hang on to you.
Well, we'll see. So there's a shitload of motions. Basically, they want her journal to be kept in. The state believes it could link her to the practice of what they call, quote, white witchcraft.
Oh.
I suppose that's like non-island witchcraft.
The white kind.
Yeah, that's her. It's a white lady in Indiana who thinks that she's, a fucking animal or some being.
Okay.
They said that... this is so crazy, man. It's 125 handwritten pages that I would love to read. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And also letters written to her kids that she didn't mail, all this shit. The judge denied the motion, saying at one point, the state's testimony has not convinced me that the state is entitled to those documents. And they said that some of the papers were quite personal. They said a lot of the papers were ramblings that disturbed him. This is what the prosecutor said. He said it wasn't brought out why anybody had seen the journal, and the judge was asking about that. So the judge said, "Have we been given any reason to believe that it may be a ritual type killing?" So the prosecutor was like, "Yes, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Sure." They said that also because this is the first time this came out recently. Marcia had sacrificed what she called her cat. She had killed her cat recently as a sacrifice to a god of some kind.
Oh, boy.
So they were like, that was part of it. She said, and also the police detective that was there testified to what she said as well to him. He said, yes, she felt that Hitler had been reincarnated into a cat, and that was the reason for killing the cat.
Okay.
She thought her cat was Hitler. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I give up. I give up. That should be our last episode as well. We've never. I said pocket Robin. That's crazy. But did he think his cat was Hitler before he kept a fucking head in his pocket?
That's some punishment if that's what you're reincarnated as.
My cat is Hitler.
I mean, every cat's kind of Hitler. They're dicks.
Okay, what's the craziest thing a person could shout at you?
Yeah.
Like if someone walked up to you on the street and said, "My cat's Hitler."
Yeah.
That's the most what? That makes no sense. My cat is Hitler.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing anybody's ever said. My cat's Hitler, so I killed it. Okay.
Oh, and then that part.
Oh.
That part makes it more.
Oh my.
But don't worry, I got him.
Yeah. And then also the prosecutor said that she's involved in white witchcraft belonging to a coven of witches, which we never hear anything about that again. I think they were just talking shit to get the journal in.
Yeah.
Then they talked about the shit in the journal. They talked about how in the journal it said, that there was a lady of illusion and Brian Thornton was being held in bondage and being kept from his quote, held in bondage, that's what it says, being kept away from his rightly place at the top of the universe food chain.
So awesome.
The journal also mentioned Shelley and, in the same references with Lady of Illusion and all this shit. And Shelley had strawberry blonde hair, which is close enough to red for Marcia.
It'll match.
It matches up just fine for her.
The woman thinks her cat's Hitler, James.
That's what I mean. Her cat's Hitler.
Any shade
Strawberry
of red.
blonde is red.
Close
it doesn't
enough.
matter. That vanilla ice cream sure tastes a lot like strawberry, eh? Who cares? Your cat's Hitler. The name of this episode should be She Thought Her Cat Was Hitler. Right. That's the end of it. That should be crazy enough for anybody. My cat is Hitler. That sounds like a bad 50s movie. My cat was reincarnated Hitler.
Holy Christ.
So then they talk about that she doesn't want to give up her pubic hair.
What?
They need a sample of her head hair, pubic hair, blood, and a footprint sample. But she said, why? And they said, because she was nude in the house. So we want to make sure that the pubes we picked up that she was shedding are hers. Pube shedding, Hitler cat killing, fucking, I don't even know, man. Crazy hat wearing.
She's got so much bush, it's just falling out.
Oh, imagine her nude with the hat, hacking away. That's frightening. So, that's even weirder. That'd be weirder, right?
A picture and it's the hat that like Robin Hood wore as a disguise. The big one? It's that one.
Kind of, yeah. Like that. I'm picturing either like that or like the one, what's his name wears? The fucking, oh my God, what the hell's his name? I totally blank out.
Carrie Elwes in Men in Tights when he has to be
crazy
somebody
shit
else.
Ferrell was wearing at the goddamn fucking...
Will Ferrell? No. Which Ferrell? What are we doing?
Ferrell. I have a New York accent, you asshole. Oh. Never mind.
I have a New York accent, you asshole.
I try my best to get rid of it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I get nitpicked for words, and I'm like, I must say 10 trillion words an episode. If you heard like my family and stuff, I am pretty mild. I have Jimmy, have I not?
It's pretty non-regional.
It's toned down 93%. So if once in a while I say horrible or orange or whatever the fuck in a weird way, shut the fuck up about it. Especially, where are you from? I bet you have a weird accent too. Anybody that says y'all, I don't want to hear shit about my horrible. Because at least horrible's a fucking word. Anyway, there you go.
So Ferrell? Who's Ferrell?
Never mind.
All right.
So
I want to see the hat.
It's just a stupid hat. I'm thinking of like a what's his that fucking Brendan Fraser movie.
Oh.
Like a Mountie hat. I'm picturing like a Mountie hat.
Is it Doolittle? No.
Yeah, not Dr. Doolittle. I give up. I'm not going to. Dudley Do-Right. I'm not going to try to come up with names of shows or anything.
That's my fault.
I have I've slept like 6 hours all week, and that's my fault. So I can't come up with things. So there you go. Can't come up with names of movies.
You can't give me clues to the movies and then have me just throw words out.
That's true, because then I'll agree with you, and then we're really in trouble. So,
it's Dr. Doolittle, obviously.
Yeah, sure, Dr. Doolittle. He's a Mountie who talks to the animals.
Giant hat.
With a big hat on. So, oh my God. So they say they have a confession from her. They have all this shit. All this. So the trial comes around.
Uh-huh.
Insanity is the thing they have to decide. 4 possible verdicts. Guilty, not guilty by reason of insanity, guilty but mentally ill.
Yeah.
Okay. I would probably go for the fourth one on that one.
Feels right.
I feel like definitely out there and sure as shit guilty, so I'll give them both. She knew what she was doing, but she's nuts. So the state wants a guilty verdict, but they said they could live with guilty with mentally ill because it's basically the same thing. It means basically they'll put you in an institution, but as soon as you're sane, then they'll put you in jail.
Yeah.
You don't get to go free then. Where if it's just not guilty by reason of insanity, that's a different story. They can put you in an institution like our one guy,
right.
But then once they feel you're healed,
to the jail you go.
Yeah, they can release you to the street. Never mind the jail.
Too.
That would be not guilty by reason of insanity. In Indiana anyway. So, during court, she sat really weird, no shoes on. She would smile out of nowhere. She would stare at the ceiling for a while. She would talk excitedly and too loud with her attorneys about case strategy. There was an artist for the TV station, like sketching the trial, and she was like reaching out toward him and shit, like she was on acid or something.
Wow.
I don't know what the fuck is going on here. The jurors ask a question. Seems weird. The jurors ask a question. They said, "Hey, this is kind of complicated. There's a bunch of people. Can we take notes so we know what the fuck we're doing? Because I couldn't tell this story without my notes. Right. You can't just, can we take notes so when we go back in there we can refer to them?" And the judge said, "You're allowed to take notes, but, quote, the law in Indiana is very screwy," is what he said. "You may take notes, but you may not rely on them during your deliberations." That's the state of the law in Indiana right now. You can take notes, but then you can't look at them when you need them.
What is the point?
If you write it down, maybe you'll remember it more.
I suppose.
But
rely.
They meant you can't refer to them.
Yeah.
You can't be like, "Oh, who is this one? Let me go. Oh, okay, it was that." You can't do that.
Wow.
Which is the point of taking notes, so you can refer back to
law.
remember. That's what the judge was like. It's the dumbest law ever, but that's the law.
Who wrote that?
An idiot. So prosecution here, they're trying to make it a love triangle gone wrong. Mm-hmm. That's what they have to do here. They're trying to convince the jury that Marcia was a librarian and that she's not crazy. She's, quote, crazy like a fox instead. Oh. This is all a big load of shit, and she just wanted to kill Shelley because she was jealous of Brian and all that, which I don't really, that's part of it maybe, but she was loopy way before Shelley, before she knew anything about Shelley, fucking Brian.
It's also a love rectangle because there's a dude too.
Another guy, that poor guy, fucking delivering papers and all that shit. So,
oh no, his boyfriend the
other guy too.
Right,
had another one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
it's a five-sided.
It's a five-sider. It's a pentagram.
There you go.
It's a love pentagram.
I almost called it an octagon.
A love pentagram.
Yeah.
That's what this episode is called. An alleged love pentagram. So they tell the jury here, this is her attorney, that Marcia's attorney says she was only, quote, an instrument of Yahweh and saw herself as killing a serpent and not a human being. So you got to explain that to the jury. He said the crime of murder in Indiana requires that you knowingly or intentionally kill a human being. If you're knowingly and intentionally kill a serpent, then you weren't knowingly killing a human being.
Super different.
So that means you're crazy.
Right.
So he's trying to really parse that out. Her sons testify for the state. One of them do here that she talked to. One of her sons, Seth here, he said that when his mother called him about the murder, she said she killed a woman, didn't mention shit about a snake.
Oh.
So he was like, they're like, that's interesting. Then they get Brian to testify. Boy, does he have some stories, as you can imagine. He testified. He said that he was mad at her, and they were asking if, like, are you doing this to get back at her for hurting Shelley? Are you testifying? I was like, I'm testifying because they asked me to testify. They said that, would you like to hurt her? And he said, yes, I would. Obviously, I'm mad at her. And so he said, quote, my feeling is that she shouldn't be permitted to ever live in a free society again, is what Brian responded. So they said, isn't it a fact that you hate and loathe Marcia and that you do anything that you could to do hurt to Marcia? And he paused for 10 seconds and then replied, yes, which is fucking great. That's a great reply.
He weighed it heavy.
He thought about it. He's like, no, I do want to hurt her. I don't like her. She's an awful person who killed my friend. Right. What a fucking dick. So she smiled broadly while he was testifying, like, glowingly, like, there's my guy. Like your kid just got hit a triple in Little League. That's what she had, a big smile. Like, I taught him that.
It's Jesus.
He did it. Look at him.
I know him.
Oh, bask in his glow. Bask in his glow.
I fucked him.
Good.
Yeah.
He crawled around on the floor and barked. It's a jury of 6 men and 6 women, by the way, so it's even on that score. Then her attorney asked Brian if the philosophy in the Satanic Bible is that when someone kills a friend, you avenge that death. And he agreed that it was. He's not a Satanist, but he knows occult shit and knows stuff like that. So he said, yes, it was. And they said, quote, her attorney said, isn't that, and what you're trying to do is avenge that death, isn't it? And he said, no, he's not trying to avenge the death. He said, they also had to bring it out that he lives with is it true that you live with a male lover? Because it's Indiana in 1982. So we're going to try to discredit you completely by, he's touched a penis. So clearly, nothing he says can be believed, obviously.
All incredible.
Yeah, all completely not credible. He says that he testifies that he had intercourse with Shelley, with Marcia, and this man in the same week. And he also testifies that, yes, he was committed to an insane asylum when he was 10 because, among other things, for strange religious beliefs. And that was that. And he said he never told Marcia that he was an angel or Christ or anything of that nature. They discussed like angels and weird shit you talk about after a couple glasses of wine.
They weren't my words, they were her words.
Yeah, but he's like, I didn't say I'm Jesus, by the way. Yes, there's angels and I am one. Then they talked about their sex. And the lawyer said, quote, isn't it true that you growled at one point? To Brian, and he says, I might have growled. This is a hilarious conversation.
Fuck.
At this point, she starts laughing. Marcia's laughing at the defense table, which is, again, super weird and not what you want to do. Then they referred to a deposition he gave to the police where Brian said, quote, I went out of my mind. I felt like I was turning into some kind of animal, and I felt like I had no control over this. And then they asked him about getting down on all fours and running around the room after sex. And he said, quote, I remember crawling on the floor, but I don't remember running around, as you call it. So he's like, no. And then he agreed that at one point he asked Marcia why she had, quote, let the beast come out of him. Not in a devil way, in a sexual way. Right. Why'd you let me get out on my fuck train? Because once I get out fucking, I'll fuck everybody. And now, damn it, the gates are open and the fuck bulls are running through the prairie.
You open the cage.
Oh, damn. Fucking Stein has run free.
What does this have to do with her murdering somebody?
They're trying to just ruin his possibility and his credibility and embarrass him.
I don't ever want to be on. So we listened to your podcast, Whisman. We heard you put your balls in a ponytail.
That's pretty cool, huh? Put that on there.
God damn it.
So next comes a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
This is an interesting lot. Larry Davis, he's a psychiatrist, court appointed. He said that Marcia is, quote, very delusional, very disturbed, and very psychotic. She believed that she was killing the devil's chief snake instead of a woman. Here's the profile that he compiled. As a child, she saw a rocking chair rock without anyone in it, and recently said in her bunk at the Tippecanoe County Jail that it shook in a regular rhythm that couldn't have been caused by the building's vibrations. So weird things happen. She told a psychiatrist now that in 1964, she was in New York where she was picked up by 3 Jewish men and had sex with them.
I believe that.
Okay, she got...
All right.
So there was they ran a Jewish train on her,
Yeah.
and she says that after that, she had to have like a cleansing ceremony because of the I don't know, man. She went into this whole thing about a cleansing ceremony where she... the cleansing rite. Oh, she did the cleansing rite later. We'll get to that in a second. He also said that, quote, to a somewhat unique degree, Marcia was convinced the world she was experiencing was completely accurate. Marcia described to me seeing Shelley and recognizing in her profile the picture of a snake. She indicated that she went into the Smith's bedroom and attacked with the intent of cutting the head off the snake. She told me, quote, as everyone knows, you have to cut a snake's head off to kill it. She said she was surprised the blood was red rather than green or blue. He said the behavior she described was the task that Yahweh assigned her to chop off the head of the devil snake. Duh.
Yeah.
So he says that it's his opinion that she is very insane, obviously. Now, Marcia testifies.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. No shoes and all.
She's going to talk.
She's going to talk. She was asked to say her name and age.
Yeah. You can get off the fucking stand. God damn it.
Never mind.
Yeah.
She said, sure. And then in her nice voice, she said, quote, Mars, the god of war, 5,743 years old, 44 in her current form.
So now she's Mars. Okay.
So she's narrowed it down. She's getting it there, though. She explained having a sexual encounter with a Reverend Jones, who she believed to be a friend of Brian's, but who turned out not to be a reverend or a friend of Brian's, but instead an agent of Satan. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So she said she went through a cleansing rite, holding her hand and mouth over a candle flame. So it was just oral and hand stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
Just her hand and mouth, wherever the penis went. Hand and mouth over a candle flame, smearing her face with ash, and burying religious tracts the man gave her on the porch at her home. But she knew, she said, that the final cleansing would have to come from Brian Thornton, obviously, because he's Jesus. She said when she went to work the next day, quote, I felt like that would be the last day of my life, and that it was inevitable that she go to Lafayette so that Thornton could, quote, dispatch me with his sword and hatchet. Okay. Clearly, a harpsichord teacher.
This is unbelievable.
No. Then the lawyer asked, why would he do that? And she said, that's what's always happened before. I was cut up before in 12 pieces. What the fuck? Does no one pay attention when I talk? Jesus Christ. She says she's been reincarnated as religious figures from the past. She's originally Eve from the Garden of Eden, and it's gone from there to me now. Right. What the fuck doesn't get through your thick skull about that?
Eve, Mary.
It's like
Mars.
I'm talking to myself up here.
Unbelievable.
I've been from Eve to I'm Mars. I'm Eve. I'm a lot of things.
This is deep.
Yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child. I'm a mother. I'm a lot of things. I'm a sinner. I'm a saint. I got a lot of things going on right now.
Joker and
whatever
a smoker.
That fucking awful song was.
Joker.
Yeah, Listen.
All kind of things.
There's a lot. You want to get
good Lord,
get back from this wet ass pussy is what I'm telling you. It's going all through the years. She's quoting fucking lute poets from the 12th century. They're like, all the references.
How did you do this?
So, she later testified that, quote, I began seeing something in front of Shelley Smith. I saw this face and I saw it was a snake. Yahweh was sending me messages. I could see something at her neck like scissors or knives, and I said to myself, quote, is this the lady I have to do battle with? Is she the red fucking menace here or what? The lady of illusion?
This intolerable bastard.
This intolerable bitch. So she answered the questions here in a quiet, precise voice, and then while her lawyer was talking to her and going into a question, she just sat up in her seat, stood up, and shouted angrily, quote, Jesus Christ, what have I done?
Yeah.
They were like, huh?
We're trying to figure that out.
That's the point of...
That's why we're all here. So we've been doing this for a while.
She said that's how Thornton had reacted after coming out of a trance-like state, and they realizing that they had sexual intercourse. So she just burst out of that without no question, apropos of nothing. She just said that. So her acquaintances are on the stand. Here's the one that's hilarious to me. This one lady, Linda Bellner of Indianapolis, said that Marcia at times would play the centuries-old dulcimer with a knitting needle instead of a pick.
Oh.
And she said, quote, it took away the sweetness the dulcimer has. And I said once to a friend that the reason she played it that way is because there was violence in her. Dude.
Because she's doing it with a weapon.
Dude. You are at like a dulcimer festival with a bunch of mild ladies from the Midwest playing with and they're like, there's evil in her. Look how she's playing the dulcimer.
She's got a knitting needle.
I mean, she's right, but Jesus Christ.
That's horrifying.
That's picking there. She said she'd known her for 6 or 7 years through her membership in the Folk, Music, and Dulcimer Society and had always thought of her as, quote, delightfully eccentric.
Yeah.
And another guy, Scotty Selch, a coworker at the Indiana Library there, described a conversation that happened in the fall of 81 in which Marcia suggested that Brian Thornton was Jesus. He was telling her coworkers, too. I know Jesus. I met him. He's this guy named Brian. He plays the harpsichord.
Yeah.
She said that he had known Thornton and that they had been in reenactments together. So she knew him. And she asked me did I love Brian? And I was like, yeah, he's all right. I mean, sure. He said that I love Brian. And he said that she came into work in the library last May and spent 5 hours writing strange religious and philosophical thoughts in a journal and that she placed in his care.
Oh,
she said, now hold this for me. No. They asked what this guy's feelings was toward Marcia, and he said, quote, I liked her as a coworker and I liked her very much as a friend. It would be hard. It said it would be very hard for you to call Marcia crazy because of that, the lawyer said, and he said, quote, yes, it would. Other people testified that she seemed to have evidence of mental problems. They talked about the hat. Things like that. The Reverend Bruce Musselman of Constantine, Michigan, her former father-in-law, he said that Jesus Christ, she was once married to his daughter, obviously, or to his son. Mm-hmm. He's a Baptist pastor. Oh boy. He described her, quote, as a product of the hippie movement 20 years ago, intellectuals and college students. Dirty hippies.
Yeah.
She wants to go out and get a job.
Right.
Instead of just, Jesus Christ.
Def Poetry Slam.
He is John Lithgow from Footloose, this guy. Literally, it's from the hippie movement. I always felt she was capable of doing something like this.
Wow.
Because she was a hippie.
What?
I always felt she was capable of trying to cut a woman's head off, is what he said. Fucking idiot.
That guy knows all the details of the Manson killings.
My guy. Monday morning quarterback extraordinaire. Yeah. I predicted this murder. He recalled when she was in her early 20s, she fell to the floor in a tantrum of kicking and screaming after he told her she should stop reading so many technical books and read more domestic books on being a wife and mother. That's what he told her. Stop. Why don't you stop trying to learn things and learn how to fucking be a wife? And wow, Jesus Christ. He said that he tried to make at least one visit a year to Indiana after his son and her were divorced, and he kept in touch with Marcia and his grandsons, and he even visited her in the jail in Lafayette. He said, I felt she needed a friend, but there was no rational communication at all. She said her life was programmed and then she talked about Yahweh. I tried to get to her, but I couldn't reach her mentally. She wasn't the girl I'd known years ago. Mm-hmm. She's out of her fucking mind. Yeah. So closing arguments, prosecutors review all the shit. They talk about the romantic relationships and all that. The prosecutor says, quote, she wove a thread of lies. Marcia Heald made continual references to Shelley Smith as a human being. She mentioned her eyes, her nose, her chest. Are those physical attributes of a snake? Well, nose and eyes, yeah. Snakes have noses and eyes. Right. So, yeah.
They're all one chest.
Yeah, it's all one big chest, a long chest. Right. Marcia would have you believe that she killed a snake. No one, of course, can bring back Shelley Smith. You can't bring back Shelley Smith, but you can make sure her murderess is punished. Okay. 6 men and 6 women got the case at 2:35 p.m., deliberated for about 4.5 hours, and then announced the verdict here, and after 12 days, they announced that she is, verdict is guilty and sane.
Really?
Not even guilty and insane. Guilty and fine.
What?
Fine. She's good.
Faking it.
No problems.
Oh, boy.
It's all good. Her reaction to this is she gets up in court and says, I was charged with one thing to be accomplished by Yahweh. That was to chop the head off the serpent who is called Satan. I should have finished my mission in my last life. If I had not chopped the head off Satan in this life, I would have had to come back again in my next life. So she's like, I was just getting it over with, dude. That was her reaction to it. That was her thing. Yeah. She didn't say, I'm sorry. She said, look, I had to get it over with. Every fucking life, they chop the head off the serpent. Yeah, I know. I got it.
My best. Guess what, guys? I'll be back.
Again.
See you soon.
Didn't get it done. Her attorney said, quote, "It was a fair, objective sentence that was not based upon passion or subjective opinion. He doesn't think the trial was fair. He's saying he's going to appeal." During sentencing, the judge said that this is weird. He gave her a sentence and then said it should be longer. I'm like, well, then why that one then? He sentenced her to, "You, ma'am, may fuck off, 40 years in prison for the murder." That's a standard sentence. And then he said, quote, "I feel she probably should have gotten more than I gave her, but there was no legal basis for it." Okay. He said she basically probably shouldn't be out on the street, I think. He also sentenced her to 30 years in prison on a burglary conviction for walking in. But basically that she served both sentences at the same time. So it's concurrent, and she's fined $20,000. Means that in good behavior, she could be released in 20 years. Prosecutors had asked that she receive 110 years in prison. I don't even know what to say here. Gerald Smith, he was in the courtroom. He wouldn't comment on the sentence. Her parents were also there. They met with their daughter and kind of, they said they were sad about the whole thing.
Of course.
Yeah, they asked for the prosecutor said, "We were confronted with a criminal who has a potential for extraordinary violence. We're dealing here with an attack that was unprovoked, horrible, and vicious," I would say. So they do appeal in 1984. They appeal on the basis that her confession was coerced out of her, that she said she didn't want to talk, but she said they kept, quote, hounding her. Okay. That's kind of what homicide investigators do. They hound you for answers to find out what's up with dead people. Yeah, but she didn't ask for. She said that the warning she'd be punished. They were warning her that she'd be punished by God if she didn't come clean, which is what they do. Right. They read the homicide book.
It's a pretty solid threat.
Well, whatever your thing is, that's what they're going to try to get to. Right. If you really love your grandma, they're going to go, man. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want your grandma to think. Yeah, you got to be a man here and admit this, and that's what they do. If it's God, they go, you're going to go to hell. You want to go to hell?
You want to go to those gates?
Fucking better admit this shit, and you won't go to hell, maybe. And that's what they do. They play on whatever they want you to fucking confess and get it off the board so they can move on to the next one. You're like a table to them. Yeah. They're trying to get that table cleared and get another fucking, get another group sit down. So the judge says that's fine. You're allowed to do that. Fuck off. No appeal. You're done.
Okay.
So she completes her sentence on July 28th, 2002. During her incarceration, she was considered a good inmate. She only received a couple of minor conduct reports and never was violent or aggressive in the 20 years she was there. She worked at the print shop and actively participated in, I knew she was an asshole, the clown ministry.
Hey, Jesus.
Where she dresses up like a clown and goes and makes 3 people out of an entire wing of a hospital happy while terrifying fucking some people and just making some people want to punch her in the face if they had the goddamn energy.
Is that what she's doing, going to hospitals?
That's the clown ministry. That's what they do. The clown ministry goes around the hospitals like fucking stupid Patch Adams and annoys people.
Dressed as a clown.
Thank you. I was just going to say.
Into a fucking child's room.
How'd you like to be incapacitated, hooked up to tubes, not going anywhere, and have a woman who decapitated somebody and is bonkers out of her mind walk in a fucking clown outfit or with sharp objects
Screaming
around?
Yahweh.
That's what you want.
Jesus.
That's comforting. Thanks a lot.
I'll make you wish for death.
That is wild. She also worked as a prison tutor because she's been in graduate school, for Christ's sake, and not a lot of people in prison have graduate degrees. Yeah. And her prison record contains several letters of recognition for her prison volunteer work. She regularly attended prison counseling session, but refused psychotropic medication while incarcerated, so she would not take any meds. And her delusions persisted all throughout her prison sentence. She was just nice about them. In the 1990s, by the way, I found this article where she invited people, inmates of the women's prison of Indianapolis, where she was at the time, who were serving sentences of 20 years or more, were permitted to invite up to 20 people a year to picnics.
What?
You could invite people to picnics over the course of the year.
On the yard?
Yeah, like you go sit out on the grass and have a picnic.
It's
like a family day type thing.
Of that.
Yeah, they have like family day type shits like that. So she was in there and she had some family in there and they went and hung out with her. So 2003, she's paroled from jail.
Good Lord.
But they want to have a hearing to find out if she should be released or put into an institution now, because they're like, yeah, you're still fucking crazy. You might not need to be committed. So her case was going through, and it was 50-50. Yeah. Then she wrote a letter. A month before she is supposed to get out. Okay,
I can't wait.
A month before, this is a letter to the Boone County Clerk of the Court. Okay, now, first of all, there was a courthouse bombing in the Tippecanoe County Courthouse at some point in the 90s, and that's what we'll talk about, in 1998. Okay, so let's get into that. All right, you need to know that for the context of the letter. Quote, I am once more inquiring about the disposition of the hat of the righteous one of Israel, which has been in your keeping since my trial in the Boone County Superior Court in 1983.
She wants her hat back.
She wants her fucking hat back, bro. She wants her hat.
Her evidence. She wants it released.
She wants it.
Yeah.
Ms. Tammy Hunter, my transition coordinator at Indiana Women's Prison, has made several telephone inquiries into your office, the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's department, and also the police and sheriff's department, as well as the courts in Tippecanoe County, trying unsuccessfully to locate the hat. Everyone she has talked to says that the hat is gone and they have no idea where it went or when. Okay, now it gets crazy. The misplacing of the hat of the righteous one of Israel creates a huge public safety menace. As taxpayers of the Tippecanoe County found on August 2nd, 1998.
Oh, you can't say shit like that.
When their courthouse was bombed on my 16th anniversary. Her 16th anniversary. So she thinks the missing hat, people fucking...
Yeah,
this
they knew
caused
that it was gone.
It was gone. So on the 16th anniversary of the murder, they were avenging that by blowing up a courthouse, by trying to bomb a courthouse.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. She said, I recently learned that the people in possession of the hat are the ones who firebombed the courthouse. Okay. They apparently believed that the hat was a plaything to put on their own heads in jest. This violates the command of Yahweh, most high God of the universe, that only the anointed one may wear the hat. Very important. For my own protection, for my own protection, I am requesting an affidavit from your office regarding the disposition of the hat. I need to have proof of where the hat went, who authorized its removal or destruction, so that I will be exonerated from all blame. Otherwise, it's all on her.
I need paperwork.
That's what she needs. I need a TPS report on that. The blathering idiot who removed the hat from the Boone County Courthouse can be charged with collusion in the Tippecanoe County firebombing, because giving the hat to an unauthorized person is like giving a loaded gun to a 5-year-old child who believes the gun is a toy.
Oh, she's a party.
Oh, my God. I do not, incidentally, believe that the hat was destroyed at the beginning as the blathering idiot planned. The hat is very fair and attractive and fey. And anyone who saw it in the garbage heap would be bound to retrieve it as a Boone souvenir.
Because it's amazing.
You see that in there, you're like, I'm getting that out of the garbage. No one's throwing that out. I can devise a way to get the hat back. Now she goes into, if you are willing to put up a reward of several $1,000s and advertise in the right places as I shall direct you. Also, I will have to identify the hat from photos submitted by the prospective reward seeker, obviously. Yeah. This will require a sting operation and much patience. But it will be worth your time and trouble, because the person who comes forward with the hat of the righteous one of Israel will be the Tippecanoe courthouse bomber. You'll have your suspect. Case solved by me.
Unbelievable. We got to do a stakeout.
Whoa. Yeah.
Get Richard Dreyfuss. We're going to get this hat.
So if that wasn't enough, Dr. Payne concluded that she is a very nice, intelligent person who is a grandmother figure to the inmates, but is severely mentally ill. She is suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, explaining that she has a complex delusional system. In fact, the most complex I have ever seen, because she is very highly intelligent, but feels she is half human and half angel. She feels she is a warrior type angel, and that she had to protect Brian Thornton, who she perceives as Christ, from the murder victim, who Marcia knew from a past life 5,000 years ago. Fucking duh.
I want to read books so bad. And I'm afraid to now, because I don't want to turn into that.
This is what's going to happen. Just stay, don't hurt your brain.
Remain dumb.
All of us stay dumb. He further testified that he believed that she is on a religious quest, that she believes she's on a religious quest from God, and that she did the right thing when she committed the murder because Marcia felt the woman was a snake and she needed to cut the head off. Still, she believes that. Yeah. Also questioned her ability to take care of herself because she still suffers from the same delusions that were responsible for the murder of Smith, and she says that she is a danger to herself and others, especially under duress. He also remarked that her insight and judgment are extremely poor. He said, quote, there is a marked paranoid ideation in Marcia. When pressed with pertinent issues, she can be easily disturbed. So she's not okay to let out and be on her own, obviously. They said that she has a delusional disorder. Everybody went through and said all this shit here. The prison ministry guy said he saw her twice a week, and he said that a loving and supportive environment would be beneficial to her, and that the church might be able to help her find a place, but she would need to be taking drugs. She would need to be on something. She can't just be paranoid, schizophrenic, unmedicated, wandering the streets. They said that, if she was taking meds, maybe we would take her in, and, that could be here. They also found that the court finds that she presents a substantial risk of danger to others and is gravely disabled. So, they not good at all here, I would say. And
they're saying gravely in the
she's bad. She's pretty
disabled.
sick. Yeah. She says, is this her? Yeah. Involuntary. Her counsel in the closing said, 20 years ago, when it was convenient for the state to fight against an insanity defense and have their convicted just as guilty as the crime, they convinced the judge and jury that the mental illness played no part in this act. It seems ironic that now she's 3 days away from being released, and the state would wish to say that they want some sort of do-over for a second bite at the apple to say that this was because of mental illness. It's like if it was because of mental illness, it should have fucking been because of mental illness before, not just now. But either way, they stick her back in. They say she got to go back to the loony bin.
Yeah, that's too much.
And as far as I know, she's still in there. I can't find anything. I don't know if she's still in there. If she's out, she's kept mad quiet. I'm not sure, but
there's no way she's out.
I don't know. I don't know how anybody would let her out.
That
I honestly
too
don't.
Loud.
She's so crazy, I don't think she can help saying these things. Right. I think she's really nuts.
Yeah.
She kept it up for 20 years in prison. This isn't a fucking act. No. She's nuts. I mean,
she's really out there.
I could see saying, she conveniently went real crazy the last few months and killed somebody. That's a real convenient thing and blah, blah, blah. But 20 years and a few months, that's
still
a different
saying
story.
Serpent, James.
That's what I mean. She's still like, I did the right thing. Like, she's not even, she knows how to play the game and she's not playing it. She's still saying, I did the right thing. Fuck her. She's a serpent. So that is crazy. That's our Halloween story, everybody. I don't know. I don't even know what to call that. Supernaturally, sort of?
That's too much.
Holy shit, man. Have we found a crazier? Is that our craziest yet?
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, I think it is. But either way, I don't know. It seems like it is. If you enjoyed that story, congratulations. So did we, because it was fucking crazy. But you can tell us all about it. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Tell us you like it. It doesn't matter. Just give us 5 stars. It helps drive the show up the charts. And we thank you guys for doing that. And thank everybody out there who does that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for the tickets to the virtual live show.
Right.
It is tonight if you're listening right when this comes out. It's Thursday, October 29th, and it'll be available for 48 hours to view after that. So if you can't make it right away on Thursday night at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific in the U.S., I don't know, do your math overseas. I'm not sure.
It's sometimes
sometime there. Yeah, if you can't see it then, it will be available for 48 hours to watch as well. So you can check that out. Get on that all violent felon edition of the prisoner dating game. Jimmy is going to get to pick from 4 bachelors and 4 bachelorettes, and I have some surprise twists in there as well. Because we always try to up the ante every one of these, so it's going to be so much fun. Check that out. We can't wait. Like we said, shutupandgivememurder.com today for that. Well, you got to do it today or tomorrow or the next day. I don't know.
That's it.
That's it.
It's your last chances.
And that's it. It's over because I don't know when the hell we're going to be able to get back on the road. I wish we wish we could come to places, but we can't.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to. It's going to be a while. Right. Not up to us at all, by the way. So we apologize for any.
A woman died on a fucking airplane. I don't want to be on a fucking airplane. that is so scary.
Yeah, that was a bad thing.
That's horrible.
That was terrible. Yeah.
If
the whole thing's a goddamn
somebody's
disaster.
within an inch of their fucking life and they're getting on a plane, I'm not getting on a plane with you people. That's
who knows?
fucking terrifying.
Who the hell? That's what I mean. So, Jesus Christ. Where we want to be out there is what we're saying. We wish we could see you guys and just come out there, see everybody, and hang out with everybody. And
I miss you so much.
Do meet and greets and take pictures and fucking just hear you guys laugh. It's a lot of fun. So, we wish we were there, but we're not. So, do that. shutupandgivememurder.com today. If you want more content than that, well, we got it for you. You can be a Patreon sponsor, donor, I should say. Patreon.com/crime and sports. You'll get access to all of the bonus materials. And there's so many episodes. We do at least 4 a month. So with Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder. So tons of good stuff. And they're hilarious. We're not going to be humble here. No. They're goddamn hilarious.
They're fun. This
week for Crime and Sports, which you'll have access to, because you'll have access to everything with the donation. We are going to do the plane ride from hell, just because it has the word hell in it and it's Halloween. But it's actually a bunch of wrestlers, WWE wrestlers, the whole crew, flying back from a long European tour on a chartered flight with a full and open bar.
Great.
And debauchery and lawsuits and everything. People get fired from it. It's a fucking disaster. A wild tale over here. Worse than like a snake on a plane. Way worse than that. Drunk wrestlers on a plane.
A nightmare for Vince.
We're going to, And also for Small Town Murder, since it's Halloween, we are going to do kind of the creepiest, most, I don't know if they're creepy. Not to me. They're kind of neat. But like the small towns that like haunting is their whole thing. Yeah. Like we're a haunted town and we'll go into like kind of the legends behind the hauntings and things like that, and kind of try to find the creepiest small towns we can find. Basically, We've done kind of the weirdest small towns. Yeah. Now we're going to do creepy, haunty small towns. So
a lot of ghost hunting in those towns.
There's going to people. That's the only reason to go there. Right. So they're pumping it up. So that'll be a lot of fun. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level gets access to everything. We'll have a good time laughing at people's ridiculous legends.
Oh, I can't wait.
That'll be so much fun. If you want to just get a hold of the show, say hello, you can do that. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that crap. You can follow us. We are at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. We're all there. Find us there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Jimmy, speaking of fun, you know what's a lot of fun?
I do.
I like hearing the names of my favorite people who would never believe that I'm a serpent whose head needs to be removed from my body. Jimmy, right now, hit me with those wonderful people. I need them.
This week's executive producers are Christopher Palcow, Jordan Bennett. Oh, and her and Simon are celebrating their 16th anniversary.
Hey, congrats,
Happy anniversary, fuckers. Nicole Blair, Alexia Gordon. Happy birthday to her also. Susan McQuilkin. Jesus, I'm sorry. Catherine Conqueror, Chris Taylor, Chrissy Ann Castaldi. Again, thanks, Chrissy. We got to get back to Boston, man.
Yeah, God, Boston was great.
Also, Chef Kristen Kulander's birthday is today, or this week.
Happy birthday.
I don't know which day. God damn it. Happy birthday. Larea Rouse, Jesse Plotkin, Gavin Smith-Pill, Don Fritz, Lisa Newberger, Sherry Dickens, Samantha with no last name, Michelle, Babasina, I think, Rachel Funderburk, I think, Demon, nope, that's Dean, Woder, Cassie McMahon, Jim Boysode, Bomisode. Christ. Jennifer Lucky, thank you guys so much. We can't do this without you. Truly
amazing.
Other producers this week, thank you so much. Carter Harris, Melissa McVicar, Jesus, Sarah Cowdle, Thomas Smith, Nico Robin, Robin James, Leah Colwell, Sally Matani, Tracy Renninger, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks,
Katarzyna Neil Zolka, Timmy Wright. Nope, that's Knight. God damn it. Zachary Jackson, Dakota Harrington, Kylie Short, Kieran White, Marissa Cole, Tisha Thomas, Haley Pierce Ramsdell, Brendan Abels. Thank you, Brendan.
Hey,
James Martyr, Liz Vasquez. Thanks, Liz. Josh Barta, Jill Haynes, Marissa Cole, Kristen Bellinger, Jessica Matthews, Katrina Jones, Michael Scott, is that real? That could be real. Jake Nasso, Elizabeth Burko, Brandon Bendy. What is this? Benoit. He's a Native American, and he likes to send me horrible things, horrible words to me because I'm accidental. I don't mean to. Jessica Nika. Haley Vieira, Megan Schroeder, obviously. What was that guy's name? Schroeder. David? No. He was a famous actor, Schroeder.
Ricky.
I had it locked and loaded there for a sec, and then it unloaded. Brooke Kale, Todd Theroff, Kimberly Paxson. What is this? Diary? That's not right. That says Mary. Veta with no last name. Jeb Edmondson, Amanda Knight, Whitley Crum, Devin Cleveland, Canner 152, Josh Garcia, Heather Musser, Todd Vanderhoff, Hoof. Oh, fuck. Joanne Ahern, thank you so much. She said happy birthday to me because I posted that my birthday is on a month. Monday.
Fuck that all up.
The ever important A.
Yeah.
Never talk about my birthday.
Nope.
Thank you so much for anybody that sent money thinking that it was my birthday.
It's not Jimmy's birthday.
I did not do that to bilk money out.
No, it's February.
Thank you. February. Don't send anything in February. You've done enough. Vinny Caputo, M. Sims, Tim Johnson, Rob Smith, Tracy Jacobs, Janice Hill.
I have an uncle named Vinny Caputo.
Do you?
Yeah.
It might be him.
Cousin Jesse's stepfather.
I'll bet it's him.
Might be.
Jesse probably used his credit card.
Maybe.
Rob Smith, Tracy Jacobs, Janice Hill, Jonathan Hoskins, Mason O'Hearn, Tim Johnson. What did I do here? Leah Medlock, Gordy Bunk, M. Sims. I said that. Wes Rich, Chloe Campbell, Adam Bennett, Tay Howe. Molly? Is that Molly? March? It's just M-O-L-L-E? Is that a Molly? Is that?
Mol.
It's Mole, right?
Mole.
March.
Mole.
Miranda Kincaid, Susanna Platt, Kyle Juarez, Samantha. Nope, that's Sarah Lockhart. I am fucking dumb.
You're on a roll, Jimmy.
Todd Tunks, Gunnar Gray, Jesse Salisbury, Baga Kiwanuka, Beja. Fuck. Robert Wire, Reagan, Dayherm Blay. Nope, Dayherm DeBlay.
Wow. No. I think he's a guy that Kurt Angle wrestled in the we talked about on Crime and Sports.
Brian the Wizard, Franklin Berry, Cal Seeley, Matt Morgan, Renee Peterson, happy birthday. Winston Howard, Brian Shodorf. Sorry, Brian. Mark Kaiser, Bethany Plack. No, Black. What did I do? I don't know.
That's one syllable.
It could be Plack or Black. Depends on how shitty my writing is.
Short name.
Cassandra Newsom, Rachel Reed, Trisha Ryan Spear, Stephanie Tilford, Tyler Criswell, Mallory Ian Coney, Brian Niehaus. Archibald Meat Pants, probably not. Stephanie Andrews, Jesse Thomas, Tracy Munix. Christy McFarland, Sue Green, I think it's Sue's. Liz Gray, Sean Platter, Dwayne Matson, Susan Wooten, Jamie Fee, Mary Brutus, Jason Ho or Huff, Justin Greenberg, John Robinson, Alex Knoll, Tim Wolotkin. Jay with no last name, Alyssa Marie, Mitchell Smith, Alex Casey, Tori Kiekenhafer. Nope, Kikehafer. Whoa. Fuck. Hannah Artrip, Brittany Galens. I don't want to keep going because I could say horrible. I don't want to say.
Up and people are going to think that's my fault, but I'm just reading.
I don't want to say worse words. No. Jonathan Crow, Ekaterina. What? Jackie Mater, a monkey chef. What? Katie Watkins, Dennis Kuspert. Asia Monroe, Alexis Roy Lance. Christopher Lewis, Courtney McCarthy, Riley Kyle Dinan, Katie Hale or Holly, I don't know, Melissa Miller, Emma Mars, Kelsey Martin, Chris Leonard, and Carlton Merritt. D Gemma 1000, Gemma, what? Jim Monroe, Sam Powell, Stacy Loper, Corey Akacha, what? Achtabowski. That's not right. Jennifer Dalton, Haley Stefkovich, Phil Beebs Heimer, Kevin Rohn, Kimberly Wade, Olivia Hours, Kenzie with no last name, Andy Young, Rice Kamen, Aaron Tienis Free, Tom George, Carl Stump, Charles, not Carl, what? Amanda with no last name, April Williams, Laura Nichols, Maggie Fitch, Kelsey with no last name, Bagakuanuka. I think I said that once before. They donated both ways. That's what happened. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean with no last name, Melanie Hood, Michelle with no last name, Mailey or Mail, Rivka Arbetter, Rivka. It's fucking not American, right? Is that English? I don't know what that is.
Well, who knows?
Kim Lincoln, Sandy Stoika, Hope.
Okay, we like all of you.
Alla Grimson, Travis Eckerd, Sean with no last name, Stephen Tott, Stephen. Captain Surly, Olivia, Cianciulli? That's Italian.
Hey.
I don't know. Myra Ezreal.
How you doing?
Myra. Tiffany Knoll, Luke with no last name, Anna Marie, like the fucking song. Morgan Pendleton, Samantha Myers, Jack with no last name, Nancy Drew, probably not the author.
Well, maybe.
Chris with no last name, Grant Springer, Trisha Mobley, Cody Adams, Kyle Rauch, Jessica Giroux, Tim Umstead, David Lemieux Jr., probably
Mario's kid,
brother,
I'm sure.
right.
Probably
It's his brother.
Or Cliff.
Right. Sandy Zavala.
His non-brother's kid.
David Seavey. I don't know what I did. Sean Joles, Michelle Pendino, Josh W., Nick Armenta, Allie Thomas, Pastor Zal. It's an AXL. I'm never going to. XAL. Not what? Joshua Doherty, Misty Kavasnik. What? G. Measy, Melissa McVeeker. I said that already. That means she donated both ways. Thank you.
Thank you.
Colby DuPont, probably that dude's kid. Eric Stump, Timothy Driscoll, Colin Ackley. What? Colin Ackley Buffington, Chad Kobnick. That's a K. Lance Vachik. Nope. Vachoke.
Something.
Trish with no last name. Tanya Hall, J.D. Johns, Shane with no last name. Samuel Garcia, Jeffrey Jefferson, Steel Flex, Tyler R., Matt with no last name. Steven Sigler, Gavin Gavinello. What? Guaniello? I don't know. It's Italian. Adrian Coronado, Sarah Barber, Zachary Mills, Jana Wells, Sean Miller, Wade with no last name, Larry Larkin, Chris Feichner, Jordan Fisher, Matt Chesser, DeAndre Floyd, Karen Crank, Letitia Bradford Muhammad, Kieran Burton, Nicholas Chiapari, Andy Dressel, Laura Vander Warka, Robin Middlebrook, Michael Bolanger, Cassidy Moore. It's her birthday. I don't know.
Well, happy birthday.
I'm never going to pronounce that. Brianna Hall, Angela Rockefeller, Hannah Simmons, Lee Goffett, Jonathan Gorsti. Why is it always Gorsti? Why is it Italians? Brandy with no last name. I love the food. Kevin Mathers, obviously Eminem's brother. Beverly Krennick, Hannah Simmons, Esther Hedberg, Dallas Allman.
Mitch's kid.
Right. And Dallas Allman, one of the brothers.
One of the brothers' kids. Yeah, well, it's royal. Sons and daughters of royalty today, everyone.
Nick Yates, Shepard Pinhorn, Tyler Gunther, Kelly Dempsey, Patrick's kid, Samantha Wright, Jamie Infantes Ward, Heinz's daughter, Garrett Johnson, Mike Shanahan, obviously.
Montgomery's daughter, it was. Okay. Ward.
James Melzer, Candina Huff, Jamie Hicks, Katrina Svensson, Jamie Lichtenbarger. You know that famous...
Yeah, Bobby Lichtenbarger's kid. Yeah, we know that one.
David Varhart, Eric Gordon, Kelly Mitchell, Jeff Basima. I don't know if that's a J. Linda Baker, Leilani G, Michael Halzima, Tisha Jackson of the Jackson 7, Timothy...
She was 6.
Tiffany Square.
Missed the cut.
Of the Dancing Fortune. Yeah. Courtney Spring, Ava M, Gavin Nelson, Jordan Schrock, Brittany Helm, Mindy Welch of the Grape Juice.
Clearly.
Brittany Smith, Christy Oliver, Joel Bateman.
Jason's brother. That is, I believe.
Angela Kornman, Natalie Etzel, Ann Kloss, Santa's daughter.
Doesn't it say, clearly.
Maria Anwar, Christine Dowling, Andre Sandoval, Dale Kress, water.
Pablo's girlfriend there was Pablo's daughter.
Lauren Reuter of the News Fortune.
Oh, clearly.
Sherry Penrod, Simon Freeburn, Maggie Pappas, Jeanette Guthier, and Jonathan Trose-Claire of the Kennebunkport
Trose-Claires.
And all of our patron donors. You guys fucking make my day. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, thank you for everything. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. It's been a crazy year, and you guys have stuck with us, and we just
third year.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. What if they wanted to stick with you? How could they get a hold of you?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks. WHISMAN Sucks. Where are you?
At Jimmy P is funny. Yep. Just my last name is there. Copy it. You're not going to spell it right, so just do that. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and everything you do. And we're excited for next week. We're already into goddamn November next week.
Yeah.
And holidays.
Crazy.
Yeah, we're on a run to Thanksgiving now, and then Christmas. It's crazy shit. So whatever you celebrate, and everybody enjoy your shit. But we'll be here the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll be here for you, however you feel. However you feel at the end of this week coming up. Maybe save this show for Tuesday if you need a laugh or something for whatever side you're rooting for. But either way, everybody, until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.